Hi everybody, Renegade 67 and or 68 here with some more Let's Play stream Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works of the Blind variety. So last time was a much shorter stream than I would have liked, but at least we got something in there. Wasn't fully cancelled. So there was a couple in universe days ago. We had a bad ending. We tried to ask Issei about the unusual woman. And then he shanked us. It was not pleasant. He was being brain controlled though. It's not his fault, I guess. And I remember thinking, oh, okay, cool. Because that means it's like a trap. I thought it was a trap. Shiro's reasoning was just that he wanted to protect Issei from going after the woman and getting too close, which is fine, whatever, I guess. I thought it was a trap. I was right that it was a trap, so I ended up choosing the other one afterwards because it was a bad ending, so of course I would. But now, on this in-universe day, Shiro's basically brought up more or less the same stuff to Issei and didn't get shanked. Let's talk about the technicality first. So, he was more asking about Issei's relationship to Kuzuki and how they're so casual. However, the unusual woman still came up, and he probed about the unusual woman, and he got his answer, and there was no shanking. He got more information here than he did in the other timeline. Now, yes, there's the technicality that, he started by probing about Kuzuki, and, it's just probing about the unusual woman in relation to Kuzuki, whereas in the other one, it was going straight for the unusual woman. You know, you can say that all you want, and there is some merit to that, but that doesn't really make it any better. There's a trap. In the bad ending, we fell into the trap that Shiro doesn't even fully understand. And he still ended up probing into the unusual woman, and yet didn't fall into the trap because of some technicality he couldn't have possibly have understood anyways. And even then, the idea that it's technicality is still just a guess. We have no idea why necessarily it didn't work this time. Maybe it's not on him right now, but I don't know. We're gonna need to find out more about it. This is Schrodinger's kerfuffle. It's probably a kerfuffle, but maybe I'll go further and then learn that, okay, no, that does make sense. It was weird at the time, but it makes sense in hindsight. More likely, though, I'm going to be like, nah, it's just a kerfuffle. And it's just a kerfuffle, in my opinion. But again, in hindsight, I might go back and be like, that did make sense. It just didn't at the time. But yeah, I don't know why he didn't shank me. I really feel like he should have shanked me. Not that I'm complaining. No, actually, I am complaining. In universe, whatever. So, that's what I heard. The reason it bugs me so much is that, to me, it seems like, Shiro's gonna have to be smart and find out about Issei and his relation to whatever in a way without involving Issei anymore. That's the big problem I have with it. If he doesn't want to involve Issei anymore, then as soon as he hears about this unusual woman and Kazuki connection, he should probably back off if he doesn't want to involve Issei anymore, and then try to find out about it in a roundabout way some other way. But instead, he just finds out about it the non-roundabout way. But because he specifically asked a different question, it's so semantical, and I don't like it. It just feels like we wasted an in-universe day, if I'm going to be honest. It feels like we should have just found this out in-universe yesterday, and then talked to Rin about it. There was really no reason to wait an in-universe day. It's just that he asked slightly differently, so it didn't work. Unless that's not the case. Maybe it's not work. Maybe there's actually something else going on. But then he's just lucky. Which, I mean, it's okay for your hero to be lucky, but only if there's some important reason why they had to be lucky, or something thematically gained by them being lucky. Because otherwise, if your hero gets too lucky, this is timeline 2 Shiro. He shouldn't have to get lucky. He should be smart enough that he doesn't have to get lucky as much. And that was 100% getting lucky. Anyways, so that's what I heard. Dash. In the classroom after school, we don't even have 10 more minutes until we have to go home. But I tell Tosaka about Kazuki-sensei. Mm-hmm.
どうだろう。一世のこともあるし、竜道寺に住んでるからって怪しいと決めつけるのはどうかと思うんだが。
What do you think? Considering Issei's case, I don't think we should suspect him just because he's from the Ryudo Temple.
久月先生か。マスターとしての気配っていうより、そもそも魔術師じゃないんだけどな、あの人は。
Kazuki Sensei, huh? He's not even a magus to start with, as far as you know. Disregarding the fact that he doesn't have the presence of a master. Well, someone's got a magical aura here, right? Also, you said Issei is the only one that was ever coming out of the Ryudo Temple. As if you were... I took that as you were spying on the temple and saw only him as the only one coming out. Seems to me like you were just making shit out of your ass, because I assumed Kazuki would have to be coming and going from the temple too. Unless he's on a long extended stay at the school. But that seems unlikely, and I feel like that would be something else, that a rumor that would spread to some extent about what the goings on of him is. I don't know if she's listening to me as Tosaka is frowning to herself.
魔術師じゃない。なんだ、よかった。それじゃあとりあえずクズキは除外か。
He's not a magus? That's good. I guess we can count him in that case. Yeah, maguses. Wow, they suck, don't they? I mean, Shinji.
なんで？そんな怪しいやつ、マスターに決まってるじゃない。
Why? Someone as suspicious as him has to be a master. Okay, we're gonna jump into every conclusion. Well, to be fair, Shiro's also jumping to conclusions. They jump into opposite conclusions. I guess it's good for Rin to counteract me. To say it still could be. Like, if I'm gonna be in the, no, Issei's not involved, she should probably be in the, Issei could be involved. It's not bad in that sense, as long as she doesn't succeed in convincing Shiro without evidence. Not a magus to start with. Doesn't have the presence of a master. Why? Someone suspicious of him has to be a master. Dash, dash, dash. Well, I'm starting to get used to this. I still can't keep up with Tosaka's thought process. This is.
今夜にでも仕掛けるわよ。学校に手を回して夜勤になるように仕向けるから。エミヤ君も準備しといて。
We'll ambush him tonight. I'll try pulling some strings. He'll have to stay the night shift, so you be ready too. Ambush him? Ambush him how? We don't know that he's a master. Ask him questions? What if he tries to shank me too? He could just be mind-controlled. We have no notion in universe that Issei is mind-controlled. So, is he... I mean, I just don't see how this is going to turn out any better unless we just get lucky. Okay, lucky, again, can be okay, but it has to be handled very carefully, in my opinion. Well, ambush him tonight. I'll try pulling some strings so that he'll have to stay the night shift, so you be ready too.
ちょっと待て。いくらなんでもそれはなし。
Hold on, we can't do that.
クズキを夜勤にするって、それじゃ今夜にでも戦うっていうのかよ。
Get him on night shift? Are you saying we'll fight him tonight? Obviously not without knowing he's a master.
当然でしょ。クズキが明日も学校に来る保証はないもの。
What? We don't even know that he's a master. What do you mean we'll fight him tonight? Also, isn't there the theory that the master is being controlled anyways? Of course, there's no guarantee that Kazuki will come to school tomorrow. Well, sure, there's no guarantee that he's a master. There's no guarantee that he even wants to fight. There's no guarantee he knows he's a master. There's no guarantee he won't shank us. There's no guarantee Issei won't shank us. And he did shank us, but you didn't this time, for some reason.
機会は待ったなし。夜まで学校に残らせて、帰り道であいつがマスターかどうか試すのよ。
How? What is your plan? How will you test him? We won't wait. We'll make him stay at night. Stay at school until night and test if he's a master or not on his way home. Okay. Can you tell me how you're planning to test him? You tend to be an on-the-fly person, but I think for something like this, you'd maybe set something up. Or at least you would set something up by the time we get there.
念のため聞くが、マスターかどうか試すってどうやって？
Let me ask to make sure. How are you going to test if he's a master or not?
実力行使。エミヤ君の時と一緒。
You gotta be fucking kidding me. Using force just like I did to you. You're supposed to kill witnesses who know you are magic. So what do you mean? You weren't testing that I was a you weren't testing to find out I was a master. You knew I was a master and you were just trying to, well, not kill me, we know now, but like, that was not healthy what you did to me. Don't act proud when you say that. Regret your actions, woman. We can't test her the same way, not with magic, because if he sees and he's not a master, it's like a witch trial at that point. We test him by using our magic, and then if he's like, you're a mage, then that means he's a master, so we kill him. Or we test him by using magic. He's like, I don't know what that is. So he's a muggle, and by association's rules, we kill him. So let's just fucking kill him regardless, if that's what you're gonna imply. Blah. The phrase, just like I did to you, sounds a bit sweet. How about bittersweet? How about just bitter? So as I thought, Tosaka is a bully inside. I guess she is. Seems like it. Do you even understand the ramifications of what you're suggesting, Rin? Or what you're suggesting different from what you're actually thinking and you're just bad at getting your thoughts across? I'd like to believe at least that's the case. That sounds like a Rin thing to do. Because I don't think you're actually planning to kill him regardless. Maybe you're just set in your ways and not thinking about the ramifications, but I don't think you're that dumb unless you are that dumb because of your infatuation with me right now. Is that really related to me, though? Nah. Maybe I fought her over the playground's piece when we were small. Oh, foreshadowing? She does seem to have a connection to me from in the past somehow. She brought it up in the bad ending where she turned freaking memory wiped me with her Men in Black powers. I'm against it. There should be a gentler way to check. We shouldn't have to take such dangerous measures. It's not dangerous. I'm not indiscriminate, you know. Okay, well, what do you mean it's not dangerous? So we're not going to use magic. How are we going to figure him out without using... Do you mean just confront him with words? And say, you're a master, aren't you? And see how he reacts? Again, though, Caster said his master might not know that they're... Your Archer said Caster's master might not know that they're master. So it could just not work. What's your backup plan, woman? Oh, okay. I'll just shoot a light gander shot at him. If he's a normal person, he'll just sleep in for 2 days with a cold. Oh, actually, yeah, that reminds me. That is, you did use those shots at me before that were making me sick or whatever to slow me down enough so you could, like, wipe my memories. I guess. But, like, what if he notices? What if he's a master? What if he's not a master but notices? Then you have to kill the witness. This feels very dangerous. You're always supposed to kill them. I guess you have to, if you can do it from afar without him noticing, maybe the best thing is to have Archer, because he can do things from really far away, shoot like his weakest arrow possible at the guy and see if how he reacts when he gets shot. I don't know. Is he gonna you spy on him and see if he's like, that must be a servant's arrow? Then again, if it's a really weak arrow, but it would be from very far away, or I don't know. And all of these plans will fail if he's being controlled by his servant. That's a problem as well. If Kazuki's a master, we'll get into a battle right then and there. As we're the ones attacking him, we won't be able to talk to him. Rin probably doesn't care. To be fair, it's Caster, and Caster is a bitch. However, you know, Caster's master, you know, might not even know. I guess if Caster's master knows they're a master, Caster's master's probably a douche. I suppose Shiro doesn't want to fight Issei's brother, because it's Issei's brother, and Shiro likes Issei. However, if Issei's brother is knowingly Caster's master, he probably is a douche. I feel like either he knows or he doesn't. And if he does, then he's a douche. But, I guess he could think that Caster's a good person and not realize all the bullshit she does. In that case, we would want a chance to talk to him, I suppose. I suppose it's possible. He'd be a very ignorant master in that case. But he doesn't seem like the ignorant type. Then again, Issei alluded to the idea that, his brother comes off cold, but he's actually kind of gullible. But no, because Issei said that Kazuki says that Caster is evil. So what is that all about? Anyways, as we're the ones attacking him, we won't be able to talk to him. I don't get it. That'll be even more convenient. Rin and her freaking fighting personality. Always just about fighting, never about, you know, negotiation. Negotiation's not a terrible idea, Rin. I know you're all about the fighting and fighting, but you don't think of the ramifications where that fighting could go, maybe. I suppose it is Caster's Master, but, you know, Shiro the hero versus Rin the fighter, I guess.
一体何が危ないっていうのよ、エミヤ君は。
What part of it do you think is dangerous? The part where he's a trap. Can we go back to that idea? About how Caster should know that we know that their master is here? Caster should have some kind of protection out for their master? So it's probably a trap? That part is the part that's dangerous?
そっちこそわからないやつだな。だから遠坂が危ないって話だろ。
I suppose there's that too. I'm the one that doesn't get you. I'm talking about how dangerous it'll be for you. I wasn't even thinking from that perspective, but sure, fair. I mean, yeah, if he's a master, he'll go after you. Dash. Tosaka must have finally realized she stops the conversation. That's only for an instant, and then she'll be like, how dare you! I am a proud toe sucker, and I can fight my way out of whatever.
そう。別にいいわよ。それなら私一人でやるだけだもの。
I see. That's fine as well. I'll just do it by myself in that case. Ooh, that's cold. You don't like me being worried for you? Probably because you thought you were the one who had to worry about me this whole time, and now suddenly I'm turning around and actually saying that... I can see why she wouldn't like that. I was expecting a more direct response, but maybe she's still wargled by the dreams that she had of Archer this morning, so she's not in the mood for direct confrontation. She easily concludes, Kusa. I guess it's meaningless to say anything to her when she's determined to do something. She does seem the stubborn type, for sure.
わかった。俺も付き合う。遠坂を一人にしたらどんな無茶をするかわからないからな。
Alright, I'll go along. I don't know what reckless things you might do if I let you be.
それはこっちのセリフよ。まったく。何を言い出すかと思えば。
That's my line. Jeez. No, it is not. It's your line. It's my line. You are the reckless one. You are 100% the reckless one, Rin. No matter how much you might want to think otherwise, you are the reckless one. At least in this timeline.
下校時間ね。それじゃあ待ち合わせは午後7時。橋の下の公園。戦闘になるだろうからちゃんと準備してくるのよ。
It's time to leave. Then we'll meet 7 at the park below the bridge. We'll probably end up fighting, so you better be prepared. How is this gonna... Meet at 7 at the park below the bridge. Probably end up fighting, you better be prepared. So, at some point, they're gonna have to reveal, not in the bad ending, that Issei is, like, under mind control, or that Caster is doing mind control. So they're gonna find out, and then they're gonna be like, wow, if I had asked Issei the wrong way... But he did... Okay, we'll get there when we get there, I guess. At the very least, it is annoying me right now. She looks away and walks off. I leave the classroom after her. Then we will attack Caster's Master tonight? I mean, it's a big assumption that it's even Caster's Master. It's even bigger assumption that they actually want to work for Caster, from what we understand, but sure.
いや、まだクズキがマスターだって決まったわけじゃないんだが、おおむねそうだ。
We still don't know if Kazuki's a master, but that's pretty much the plan. I report to Saber about today as soon as I get home. Saber must agree with Tosaka, she's hyped up already. Maybe after Archer got all talky to her, she lied and pretended to be honorable after the fact, but really that got her fight juices pumping and makes her want to fight.
そういうわけだから、今日の鍛錬はなしだ。夕食もすぐに支度するから待ち合わせに備えよう。ってそっか。
So,
そういえば出陣の前に飯食うのって良くないのか。
she said tonight. Sorry, I was partially spacing. Not the day after, but tonight? It's fine, I'll just do it myself. Part of the job. We are doing it tonight. Sorry, I don't know, somewhere in that conversation, while I was still thinking about Issei shanking us, I think I got confused in thinking we were going to do it the next day. But I guess Rin doing things that on the last minute notice is a very Rin thing to do. We won't be training today. I'll go make dinner right away. So let's get ready for tonight. Wait, is it bad to eat before going to battle?
なぜそのようなことを聞くのです。戦闘時に空腹では問題があると思うのですが。
Why are you asking? I believe there would be a big problem if we get hungry during battle.
いや、腹がもたれるのかなって。あと1時間もないし、夕飯は帰ってきてからのがいいんじゃないかなって。
Well, I was thinking it might be too heavy. What, you might be too fat afterwards? You afraid Saber's gonna get fat? We don't even have an hour left, so we might be better off eating after we come home.
いえ、そのようなことはないと思いますよ。口にしたものを素早く消化するのも戦士の素質です。
Also, you're a servant, so that helps. Also, you really just like Shio's cooking, I think, even in this timeline. I mean, who doesn't, right? The way to a woman is through the... I don't know. Shio's a good cook. I do not think that's the case. It's the quality of warriors who digest anything we consume.
普段から正しい生活と鍛錬をしていれば食事はあまり問題ないかと。
I do not think food will be bad if one has been training and has led a proper lifestyle. Well, I have to pass then. My lifestyle's been kind of forked.
それはつまり夕飯は作って OK ってこと？
Does that mean I can cook dinner?
はい。そちらの方が大変力が出るのでは。
Oh wow, with the blushing. Yes, I believe we will have more energy that way. I see. I have trained to be able to move right after meals, so I guess there's no problem. Have you? Alright. I'll make a light dinner just in case.
それじゃあ今に行ってるけど、セイバーは？
Then I'll be going to the living room. How about you, Saber?
シローの邪魔をするわけにはいきません。私はもうしばらく気を整えておきます。
I cannot bother you. I will stay here and calm my mind. Topoima followed me? Oh, did you? Oh, are you like unfollowing me and refollowing me? To try to fix your Twitch notifications? I'm sorry about that, your Twitch notifications. I stream, except for yesterday where I had that weird delay, which I wasn't even yeah. I don't like delaying my start, but aside from yesterday, I always start at the same time, so you can generally know when it's happening. But, hopefully those, get fixed for you. I cannot bother you. I will stay here and calm my mind. I guess you'll be sitting here Japanese style in meditation.
了解。飯ができたら呼びに来る。
Alright, I'll come get you once dinner's ready. I leave the dojo. What you gonna do? I guess you're just gonna make dinner, but why the ominous music then? It's dark outside. Are we gonna get interrupted trying to make dinner? We're meeting at 7. That must mean we'll be attacking Kazuki-sensei about an hour after we meet. Dash, dash. We'll have to fight if Kazuki turns out to be a master. But, like, what if he's not a master that doesn't know any better? Because isn't that the whole theory? I feel like that's a big theory right now. In-universe theory. Archer has that theory. They might not know they're a master. Castor is a wary servant. Exactly! She would never give us another chance at a surprise attack if she found her master had been attacked. I don't think she'd even give you the first chance. This feels like a huge trap. Then we'll have to make sure to beat him if we're going to attack. Come on, Shiro. What are you doing? This doesn't feel like the timeline too, Shiro. Is it because it's Rin's idea and you don't want to object because you want to get in her pants? It feels like a dumb idea. I can't let my enemy escape, nor can I run away. No matter who it may be, Castor's master has to be defeated to stop Castor, the one attacking other people in this town. I feel like, and maybe I'm even supposed to know this, because Castor said she killed her own master at the end of Timeline 1, and assuming that's to be believed, I don't even think her master is necessary for her. It's possible she has to build up to not needing her master anymore, but maybe this is meant to be a dramatic irony where we, the viewer, know that this is futile and we're going to have to beat Castor the hard way regardless. Because I don't think going after the master is going to accomplish anything. And in fact, I think the only thing it's going to accomplish is setting off the trap. If all goes well, we'll take away his command spell and he won't be a master anymore. That's a big, hard ask. But in the worst case, we'll have to try to kill each other. I guess it's the first time you've thought about that, huh? I mean, with Shinji, you were just thinking about fighting him off. You weren't thinking much about... Your mind didn't get really to the point of killing, I don't think. I suppose because you're such good friends. To be fair, if you care about Shinji because your relationship with Sakura, I think you care about Kazuki because your relationship with Issei, but... I think with this case, it's more about the relation to Rin and how she's already determined to fight him, basically. And Shinji's different, I guess, because his servant, in theory, is already gone, so he's not a threat anymore. Whereas, theoretically, Kazuki's servant is so strong that we want to go after the Master instead. We want to do the cold, unfortunate, dark method that in the beginning of the game they're like, you don't have to, but it's easier. You will become the thing which you hate if you do that.
そうか。武器の一つも持っていかないとな。
Oh yeah, I have to take a weapon. Don't take a weapon, just sword breath. No, it's okay, you can take a weapon. Just throw it away when the important moment comes. Weapon at my place. Something I can easily put magical energy into would be a wooden sword. My success rate of the strengthening magic has been pretty good recently, so even a wooden sword would become a good weapon. But that's only in the case of normal battles. I'll need a better weapon if I'm going to fight against a master or a servant. Servant, yeah. Master, you might be fine.
欲を言えば、あいつの剣みたい。
To be greedy. Swords like his. Ooh, giggity. I imagine what I saw in my dream. Twin swords are black and white. They're really building this up way too long in this timeline, in my opinion, if I just have to throw that in there. We've already seen that he can do the sword birth. And the build up in timeline 1 was warranted because, they were building up to the twist. But we've already seen timeline 1, so we already know he can do it. So they're really taking their sweet time to build up to something that we know is going to happen. Like, we get it. Just get there. I don't hate it, but it is starting to be like, you wanna stop wasting my time? Twin swords are black and white. If they're about that long, I should be able to use them. And most of all, I could fight decently if I had those swords. Oh, so you're thinking about, what is your plan? You're not just dreaming about it anymore, you're thinking about how to actually do it? I should be able to use them. Or is this still theoretical for you? Like, if you actually had them, theoretically you could use them. I could fight decently if I had those swords. Sure. How are you going to make them? How are you going to use them? I'd be able to protect myself, not be a burden on Saber, and be proud that I'm Saber's master. And maybe at some point I can be proud that I get to bone Rin too.
たく、ないものねだりをしてもしょうがないだろう、バカ。
Man, it's meaningless to ask for something you don't have, you idiot. My shoulders slump as I head to the porch. I'll just do what I can. For now, I'll concentrate on making dinner. Okay? Saber always seems so serious, but it seems Saber is looking forward to the meals. It's been my recent secret joy to make her happy. Well, that's... Oh, your secret joy to make her happy as a friend in the friend zone, because, I mean, it's Rin who you wanna... Always seems so serious, looking forward to the meals. Okay. Makes sense. She's still a big eater even in this timeline. Is it a secret joy enough for you to laugh about it? Mm-hmm. Alright. It's 7 o'clock. Wouldn't this be such a letdown if we confront him and then he's just like, I don't know what you're talking about. He might actually do that if he's an unknowing master. But like, if this just leads nowhere... I mean, it has to lead somewhere the way they've built this up. It doesn't have to be that he's revealed to be a master. It doesn't have to be revealed that he knows he's a master. But something important has to go down here. Otherwise, it's a real cock tease game. It's 7 o'clock. Tosaka comes right on time.
お待たせ。必要なものを揃えてたら時間かかっちゃった。
Sorry to keep you waiting. I took time since I was getting necessary things.
で、そっちの準備はどう？
How's your preparations? I don't know. How about you? How about Archer? How's he doing? Dash dash. I got a wooden sword. I show her the wooden sword bag. There's one wooden sword in here. This is about all the preparation I can do. Well, I mean, this last time you had just a shield. You didn't even necessarily have a proper sword when you were dealing with Rin. Well, no, you had the sword with the Scullies. You had the sword with the Scullies. It was the chair. It was like the foot of like a desk or something like that, right? Here you at least have a proper sword, so it should be something decent.
まあしょうがないか。そもそも白兵戦ならこっちはセイバーがいるんだし。
Well, I
エミ
guess
ヤ
it can't
君
be
は様
helped.
子を見ているだけでいいかもね。
First of all, we have Saber for hand-to-hand combat. It might be that you'll just end up watching. Excuse me? Do you remember when I fought the Scullies? Would you stop trying to talk down to me, you bitch? Like, it'd be different if we were fighting Caster herself, but if it's just Kazuki, I think I can hold my own, thank you very much. Fucking fight me. I mean, don't. I mean, do. Narratively, I do want you to fight me, but I don't want you to... Let's fuck later.
そうだな。セイバーがいる以上、俺はセイバーのフォローをするだけだ。
Yeah, I guess I'll just back Saber up since she's here. I mean, you know, she could always use a wingman. Well, I can't think of a situation where I'll be helping out Saber, but, I mean, if she takes Caster, if Caster shows up, you take Kazuki. I mean, we have our servants with us, so this will be super easy in theory. Obviously, it's a trap of some kind, but in theory, if we're just dealing with the master and no servant, like, and we have the servants on our side, this should be like a piece of cake.
リン、なぜアーチャーはいないのですか？
Why is Archer not here? He's probably arching, right? I assume he's off somewhere setting up a position in case something bad happens. Then, Saber asks with a serious expression.
遠坂、アーチャーを連れてきてないのか？
You didn't bring Archer, Tosaka? I'm sure he was stationed somewhere.
ええ、あいつなら置いてきた。今夜は奇襲だし、
What?
セイバーがいるなら必要ないでしょ。
What?
正直なところ、あいつとキャスターを合わせたくないのよ。
What? 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 Oh, are you kidding me, Rin? No, I left him at home. We're doing a surprise attack today, so we won't need him if we have Saber, right? To be honest, I don't want to let him see Caster. Are you freaking kidding me? You're... okay, you're right that if we're just dealing with the master, it's fine to have just one servant. But, like, if this is a trap of some kind, could you not respect the trap and bring your servant? Do you remember how last time we got in big trouble because you didn't bring your servant? Yes, Saber wasn't there last time and we had to waste her spell. But, like, you know, the more the merrier if you can. If you can bring Archer, I feel like you should. Like, what is he doing anything important at home? What is he doing? Defending your home base, I guess? Is that it? How important is that? What do you have at your home base? What is important there? I guess there's something important there, but just give me some kind of specifics so I can be okay with it. This is gonna go badly because Archer's not here. I assumed he'd be arching. It's gonna be a trap. And okay, to be honest, I don't want to let him see Caster. Why? Because he saved Caster last time? I guess. But, like, he still saved me from Caster. And he said that he wants Caster to do things without Rin finding out too much. Because he doesn't want to go against Rin. So, it does not sound to me at all like she's worried about him getting charmed. I mean, maybe. Because he's a man? That doesn't come across to me like that way at all. Maybe the next line will come across that way. This line to me is not really coming across like... To me, it comes across like after his last interaction with Caster and how he let her live, it's kind of awkward, but... I forgot about the whole 10-minute follower timer. Yeah, it is a little overkill, but it's kind of there for a reason. I used to have troll issues, and then as soon as I implemented the timer, they stopped. So I'm just going to keep it going, but it is kind of annoying. But, to be honest, I don't want to let him see a Caster. Tosaka starts walking. I don't know what she's thinking, but I guess we won't be getting Archer's help. I feel like either Kazuki's... I guess if Kazuki's a master, we still want a servant as our help. Because if he's a really talented master, we could be in trouble. If the servant does get involved, then I feel... If you're afraid of the servant getting involved, that's why you should have the second servant. If you don't think there's a worry of the second servant involved, and we run away as soon as Castor shows up, then that's one thing. But if you're worried about the possibility of the servant showing up, we should have our second servant for the 2-on-1. I guess we won't be getting Archer's help. This feels like a Timeline 1 plan. I don't like this. It feels like a Timeline 1 plan. Sure, you're supposed to be smarter in Timeline 2. I know it's Rin's plan. You're going along with it. But, like, it feels like a dumb plan that's obviously going to fail because, duh, it's a trap, duh. But we'll see. One has to pass the intersection if one is to go from school to the Udo Temple. It's already been an hour since we got here. A boundary field has been created here.
外から見られるのはアウトだけど、防音だけは完璧よ。
It's over if we're seen, but the soundproofing is perfect.
ここ一帯ミサイルが落ちても周りには気づかれないわ。
Nobody would notice even if a missile is shot here. According to Osaka, there's her being kind of overconfident. The soundproofing is perfect. Nobody would notice. Maybe he won't be a master or won't know he's a master, but Berserker will use this as a chance, or Ilya will use this as a chance, because, you know, we haven't seen her in a while. This might be when she makes her move. Possibly. Just because it's been a while. It's so quiet around us. I guess it's because Tosaka's boundary field is working, but the town is too lifeless. Alright. It's already been 7 days since the Holy Grail War started. Yeah, time's been flying by compared to Timeline 1, arguably. Just, I guess because, partially my streams have been longer, but also because I feel more stuff is constantly happening. Which is, you know, true. I don't even remember how many days the first Timeline was, but I don't think it was that many beyond just the initial 7. It was like 8, 9, maybe 10? But, 7 days. It seems the town is having its spirit slowly drain without anyone noticing.
来た。
He's coming.
エミヤ君、隠れて。
Hi, Emiya-kun. Still calling me Emiya. Still don't want to go all in and call me Shiro. You called me at once. You just gotta keep going and call me Shiro a second time. You gotta double dip on the Shiro. You can't just say Shiro once and then never say it again and act like that wasn't us hitting first base. Ugh, ellipses! Exclamation point. There was no ellipses, but I said it anyways. I moved to the wall. I can't even hear footsteps. I see a shadow under the streetlight. A tall and lean figure. The familiar figure is definitely that of Kazuki Soichiro. Kazuki-sensei passes us with his usual ordered steps. Dash, dash, dash. He's too defenseless. I'm suddenly attacked by the feeling that Kazuki-sensei might be innocent. Okay. I mean, he's just gonna have to hold for a while, right? It's a very big dick move, and to me, this feels like you're alerting, even if he has nothing to do with anything, you're alerting that, I guess everybody knows who you are at this fucking point, right? Like, you know, Shiro knows about you, Ilya knows about you, Shinji knows about you, Castor knows about you. I suppose, from your perspective, you're Rin. The only one who wouldn't know about you is, like, maybe theoretically 2 masters? Those being Lancer's master, but Castor knows who you are. So Castor's master should know who you are, which is why, again, this whole idea is dumb. Really, it's just, in theory, Lancer's master who doesn't know who you are. Lancer's master does who you are, but in theory they don't, and maybe they could find out because of this, but I guess if it's just the one master. I'm suddenly attacked by the feeling that Kazuki-sensei might be innocent.
なあ、登坂。やっぱりクズキは違うんじゃないのか。
Hey Tosaka, don't you think Kazuki-sensei is innocent?
まあ、やってみればはっきりするでしょ。
Well, we'll find out for sure after we try. It seems Tosaka's in doubt as well. I guess she's still going with the plan as she points her index finger at Kazuki-sensei. I mean, I suppose in some ways it's a practical idea. I think there were better ways of going about this, but at least, you know, if you want to find out for sure, this is one way. I guess. Gander. It is a curse to reduce the target's physical ability, considered to be the simplest magic. I like that she's reusing something we saw her use earlier. The follow-through of the magic that she uses. Because I don't remember using Gander much in Timeline 1. In fact, I don't remember her using it at all, but she might have and I just forgot. However, I definitely remember her using that cold type of curse on Shiro earlier when they fought in this timeline. And I enjoy the idea of familiarity. I don't know. I know she used a lot of, like, windy... I thought she used a lot of wind magic before. I thought that was, like, her specialty. She seemed like the wind mage to her father's fire mage. But I guess it's just more about unleashing energy, and that's just one way to unleash energy. But... Tosaka's gander shot is more like a gunshot, but I'm sure she'll go easy this time. Are you ready, Emiya-kun? She murmurs. Dash, dash, dash. Do I have a choice to say no? I'll still make it. There's a possibility that Kazuki Soichiro is innocent. Isn't there another way to check if he's a master or not? I fucking don't know, man. I'm still being like, well, what the heck about the Issei stabbing me thing? Anyways. Kazuki Master. I called it, if true. Let's see here. What's the choice? It's too dangerous. Stop Tosaka. I guess that's the only option. You know I can hear you. You're just talking out loud in open space. No, I believe that they're like whispering or whatever. It's too dangerous. Stop Tosaka. I guess that's the only option. My gut says stop Tosaka because I've been thinking this was a trap for the longest time. I mean, we're already here. We're already doing it. I feel like we could have talked about this beforehand. But to me, this is so obviously a trap. I just don't know where this goes if we stop her. Because if they just let him walk away, and then we walk away, this was a build-up to such a nothing scene. I don't know. It's still my gut is saying this is a trap, so do the smart thing and don't spring the trap. So, I don't want to spring the trap. Stop Tosaka. We can't do this. The method is too violent. I don't care a shit about the method. I think it's a trap. Hold on, Tosaka. This is too reckless. It's too late. I can't quit now. Was this a but thou must? Tosaka sticks at her left hand. Do we jump in the way of the shot? A black shot is released with an ear-ringing sound. Or it was a but thou must. Okay. Can't avoid springing the trap. But thou trap. Dash, dash, dash. She must have made a sound on purpose. It is slow, and the black haze goes for Kazuki like a pitcher's change up, whatever. I know baseball, not really. Dash, dash, dash. There's a really cool multi-part episode on Case Closed that had baseball in it. That was probably the best baseball game I've ever not really seen. A wind of disease that will cause him to be sick in bed for 2 days. But 2 days of inaction is fatal for a master. There has to be some kind of a reaction if Kazuki-sensei is a master. Or he just doesn't notice it. He could just be incompetent and not notice it. Crap! What? Tosaka jumps. What? Kazuki does not react at all. Tosaka's gainer shot mercilessly hits Kazuki Soichiro's head. But right before that... Huh? What? There was a thing? Something came off? What happened? It is nullified by a robe that suddenly appears in the sky? A robe? Caster's robe? Or something else? Oh. That was a male voice. Kazuki's voice? That couldn't be Caster's voice. The man that was supposed to hit by the gander shot looks at us. Oh. Were the robes like Caster deflecting the shot? Did Caster actually show up, or did Caster have a thing planted on him to protect him from stuff like that, but keep him ignorant, maybe? He looks at us, as if saying he knew we were here all along. Okay. Surprise, it's a trap. Didn't see that coming. Rin! Use first names already. Come on, get over it. Get over yourselves and use first names. I quickly take the wooden sword out of my bag and put magical energy into it. There's no time to be screwing up the strengthening magic. The robe that appeared in front of Kazuki now takes form. There's the shadow of Castor. Female limbs appear from the bluish-purple robe. Teleportation. A complete teleportation is considered to be a sorcery, even in this modern world. Castor has easily performed such a thing to appear in front of us.
忠告したはずですよ、宗一郎。このようなことになるから、あなたは竜道寺にとどまるべきだ。
I have warned you, Soichiro. I told you to stay at the Ryudo Temple because such things can happen. Okay. So he's a knowing master. He knows that he's a master. But he's just gullible. The perception that he's super smart to the world, or he's naive. Issei said he was naive. So he's a master. I guess he knows he's a master, but he doesn't maybe know the specifics of the Grail War. Or he knows because she's saying such things can happen. He knows, but he doesn't know that Castor is like a complete bitch. I assume so. I assume he doesn't know that, you know, she has a curse on his, like a brother, that, you know, killed him in another timeline, but not in this one for some reason. But, if he does know, then he's just an ass. She must think nothing of us as she calmly talks to her master, Kazuki. She said she killed her master in the other timeline, so I assume he's ignorant.
そうでもない。実際に獲物は釣れた。
That is not true. We did catch a target. Okay. He knows he's a master. He doesn't know she's a bitch. That's my current ongoing theory. That is not true. We did catch a target.
そうね。あまり大きな魚ではなさそうだけど、大量であることは間違いないわ。
This is pointless.
そこから出てきなさい。バカな魔術師さん。
This is just a show for you, right, Castor? Yes, the fish aren't that large, but it makes no difference since this is quite a haul. Come out now, you foolish magus. You already knew about Shiro. Maybe you didn't know about Rin? Maybe. But you definitely already knew about Shiro. So catching me like this is pointless. You could have come after me at any time. So maybe this is just you putting on a show for your master to pretend like you just caught them, but really you knew about them all along and were avoiding them because you wanted to utilize them in some way. So you're just putting on a show for your master to pretend like you didn't know already? That's my assumption, I guess. Come out now, you foolish magus. Dash, dash. Running away would be hard now. No, if Castor and Master are here, all we have to do is fight them, even if this is the middle of the town. Before that...
出てこないの？残念ね。顔ぐらいは見ておきたかったのですけど。
You're not coming out? That's too bad. I at least wanted to see what you looked like.
何よあのタヌキ。こっちの素性なんてもう分かってるくせに。
Exactly. Which is why this was obviously always a trap. Damn that fox. She should know who we are already. Yeah. So this was obviously a trap, and you guys didn't even fucking talk much about that. Tosaka grumbles from her hiding spot. Yeah, but because Tosaka highlighted that she should know, I think she is putting on a show for her master. Her master should be ignorant. Castor must hear it.
3秒あげるわ、お嬢さん。それであなたがしたことをそのまま返してあげましょう。
I will give you 3 seconds. I will do the same attack to you after that. Since she says so and points her hand in our direction. Good hearing. Thought it was soundproof. I recall what happened at the Ryudo Temple. She won't hold back. Knowing her, I bet she would destroy this whole area along with the wall we're hiding behind.
エミヤ君、合図をしたら飛んで。セイバー、準備はいい？
Emi could jump out when I give the signal. Saber, are you ready? So, this is the master reveal? It's Kazuki? Okay. So I was kind of right that it's Kazuki, but... I don't know, the things that led to us finding out that it's Kazuki feel a little weak, but because we still don't know that there's like a trap on people like Issei, for example, at this point in the narrative. In theory, if we didn't choose the wrong choice, I wonder how long they're gonna lead us on, as it were. And then once we get there, I feel like you have to ask the question, wait, why didn't he shank me in this time? Saber, are you ready? I sense her nodding behind me. But there's something I need to confirm before that. Oh, Kazuki, whether or not he knows stuff, right?
すまん。それは後にしてくれ、トサカ。
Sorry, do that later, Tosaka. Do what later? Jump out when I give the signal. Oh, I see. I think. Huh? I don't wait for a reply. Alright, good, Shiro. Being a good man. I mean, this is just endangering Kazuki, but, I mean, otherwise, you guys are endangered. This was always going to be icky, but, I go out into the intersection with my wooden sword.
シロ
Ah, you let the first name drop because of the dangerous situation. Tosaka must not want to let me go alone, as she comes out as well.
あら、意外ね。少しは物分かりが良くなったのかしら、坊や。
Oh, this is unexpected. Do you understand your position more now, boy? Caster watches us with composure. Kazuki is standing next to her. We're about 10 meters apart. No matter how I think about it, Caster's finger would be much faster than me running into them. Her finger? What does her finger have to do with anything? Oh, her finger shooting like an attack? Dash, dash, dash. But I showed myself in spite of that. To reason with Kazuki? And he'll just get killed. I mean, how else can this go? Maybe we save him in Timeline 3, but I feel like under these circumstances, he's just gonna die if we try to reason with him in front of her. I have to do something more before I fight. Then again, I guess we, Shiro, don't necessarily know that Caster can keep living without her master. Even if we, the audience, probably can assume as much. Shiro doesn't necessarily know that, so there's a chance. In theory. But the chance is going to be met with horrible dramatic irony, which we could see coming when she just kills him because she doesn't need him. Also, even for them, in theory, she could just kill Kazuki and take Shinji. Shinji's probably ended up with Lancer or some shit, but in theory, they could know that, well, Shinji's still around and has command spells. If Caster kills her master, she could just partner up with another master. So the theoretical threat is still there, even in universe, even in Shiro's perspective. I have to do something before I fight. That is...
遠坂とエミヤか。マトだけではなく、お前たちまでマスターとはな。魔術師とはいえ、因果な人生だ。
Tosaka and Emiya, huh? So you two are masters as well, like Mato. So you know about Mato? I guess she told you after the incident with Ryder. Fate has an odd way of doing things. Indeed it does. And you're okay with the idea of fighting us? To check the true identity of Kazuki Soichiro, the one Caster's protecting. That's one way to put it.
どうしたエミヤ？話があるのではないのか？
So, Emiya, you have something you want to ask me? He says so in his usual manner. Indeed. Are you as much of a bitch as your servant? Let's not word it like that, but can you be clever with your wording, Shiro? You've not been the best at that thus far, but maybe in this tense situation. I don't feel a presence as a magus from Kazuki-sensei. No, I don't even feel his desire to win the Holy Grail War. Then...
クズキ、あんた、キャスターに操られてるのか？
I don't think that's the right question. Kazuki, are you controlled by Caster? It's possible that Kazuki-sensei is controlled by Caster, like Archer said. I feel like if he was, he would just answer no at this point, because he'd just be a puppet. Because he clearly understands things about the Grail War. So if he's being controlled, he wouldn't have the autonomy to say yes, I don't think. Autonomy. I can't fight against Kazuki-sensei until I get this cleared up. Dash dash dash. Caster emits an intent to kill. That alone tells me the question is off limits for her.
うるさい坊や。殺してしまおうかしら。
What an annoying boy. I should kill you. Her words are not a threat. But...
待て。その質問の出所は何だ、エミヤ。
Hold on. Why are you asking that, Emiya? Because she's like a bitch? I mean, there's not much of a nicer way to put it. That's why I think this was kind of a bad question, because that's his obvious response. I don't think he's being controlled so much as he is ignorant right now. Kuzuki-sensei stops her in his usual manner.
疑問には理由があるはずだ。言ってみるがいい。
There should be reasoning behind your question. Tell me. Dash dash dash. My throat is dry. It must be Caster's intent to kill. The robed figure tells me I'll be killed if I say something bad. I bear it and...
あんたがどうやってマスターになったかは知らない。けど、あんたはまともな人間だろ。なら、キャスターがやっていることを見逃しているはずがない。
I don't know how you became a master, but you're an honest human, right? Then you shouldn't be overlooking what Caster's doing. Okay, that should be enough to trigger Caster's flags, how she's gonna react.
だっていうのに見逃してるってことは、あんたは知らないんじゃないかって思っただけだ。
But since it seems you are overlooking it, I thought you just might not know about it. He probably doesn't know about it. She's probably gonna kill him. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Did I put a space when I didn't need to? No, I didn't. Oh, it looks like two spaces between probably and gonna. Okay, so... I say so while glaring at Caster.
キャスターがやっていることだと？
What Caster is doing?
ああ、そいつは竜道寺に巣を張って、町中の人間から魔力を集めてる。ここ最近連続している香水事件は、全部そいつの仕業だ。
He just straight up says it. Alright, timeline 3 theory. I think Caster's about to just kill Kazuki. Or something like that. We have foreshadowing that she doesn't need him to some extent from the end of timeline 1 where she said she killed him. So I have a timeline 3 theory now where Shiro seems to chronologically be, in some extent, past his timeline 1 self where he character developed at the end. Because, you know, he was pretty stupid in timeline 1. Intentionally so, because he was always avoiding hard truths. And he's kind of developed, for the most part, past that. So, whatever's done that, there's some kind of timey-wimey stuff. Maybe he'll get a bit of self-revelation that there is timey-wimey stuff going on for Timeline 3. And maybe he'll be like, okay, how do I do this? How do I save Kazuki in this timeline? Because, like, he was so fucked. I don't know, just a thought. Yeah, she's putting up her fort at the Rito Temple and collecting magical energy from the people in this town. All the coma incidents happening recently are her doing. Dash, dash, dash. This response, how he responds to this is going to be huge. She hasn't responded at all, actually.
今までも、そしてこれからも犠牲者は増え続ける。キャスターが魔力を吸い上げ続ける限り、いずれ死んじまう人間だって出てくるだろう。
There will be more victims. I'm sure someone will die as long as Caster keeps draining magical energy. Oh yeah, always with the dashing. Dash, dash.
そいつは、町の人間は生贄だって言った。取り返しのつかないことになるのは、そう先のことじゃない。
She said everyone in town is her sacrifice. It won't be long before it's too late. Alright, so there's 3 possible ways Kazuki can respond to this, I guess? There might be more than 3. Way number 1 is, I'm evil too, bitch! Way number 2 is, oh, never mind, why am I liking Castor? I don't like Castor. I'm actually a good person. And then she'll probably shank him. Way number 3 is, he's a good person, but he thinks we're lying. He thinks, oh, Castor told me you would try to screw with me, but Shiro, I never thought you'd stoop so low. So, which possibility would it be?
なるほど、そういうことか。通常善良な人間ならばキャスターを放置できない。
I see. A normal human being would not be able to let her be. Huh. Everyone in town is her sacrifice, so it won't be long before it's too late. That's a weird response. Are you thinking we're full of shit? Did you know all along? Are you saying you're not a normal human being? Maybe you're actually a creation? Maybe you're not a real master and you're just a pawn? You have to be summoned somehow, right? Maybe this is part of some conspiracy from long ago and you are a pawn and you summoned her, but you were always not a real boy. It said you showed up at the temple 3 years ago. Maybe you were created roughly 3 years ago. Or something.
にもかかわらずマスターである私がキャスターを放置しているのは彼女に操られているからだと考えてい
So you
る
thought I
わ
might
け
be
だな。
controlled, since I'm letting her do as she wishes.
ああ、もしあんたがキャスターの行為を知っていて放っておいているなら、あんたはただの殺人鬼だ。俺も容赦はしない。けど、あんたが操られているんなら別だ。
Yeah, but if you're overlooking her deeds, knowing what she's doing, then you're just a killer. We won't hold back on you. But it's a different story if you're controlled. Or just ignorant. Normal human would not be able to let her be. Thought I might be controlled. I mean, if he's being fully controlled, he could just lie and say, I mean, you know, that he's evil, and that could be a lie. If he's being puppeted, like, what do you mean controlled? You know, there's a few different ways to take control in this context.
俺たちはキャスターだけを倒す。
We'll just defeat Castor.
いや、今の話は初耳だ。
No, this is the first time I heard about this. Oh, then you had such a calm response in that case. Interesting. I guess you're just that kind of person. Kind of awkward. Normal human being would not be able to let her be. He declares so firmly. How's she gonna react to this? She's still putting on a show? What's the point, if he knows? Unless she is putting on a show, he is controlled, and this is all part of the trap? Where they lure them into a false insecurity, thinking they can trust Kazuki, but he's also just another time bomb? And he can be turned on a dime to be controlled at any moment, like how Issei shanked us in the one timeline? He declares so firmly. I don't think it's a lie. Kazuki Suichiro is straightforward like when he is teaching. Unless that whole thing is a lie and he's not actually straightforward at all. Maybe he's not even a real teacher! Phew. I sigh with relief while keeping watch on Castor. Okay, you're keeping watch on Castor, that's good. Don't let your guard down just because he said that he's not a bad person. Because he could still be, you know, lying and be a bad person. Kuzuki-sensei is a victim if he's controlled by Castor. In theory. That's all that's left is defeat Castor. She's taking this too much in stride. She's taking it sitting down. Lying down. Why? It's a trap. It's still a trap.
だがエミヤ、キャスターの行いはそう悪いものなのか？
Oh. That's a whole different swerve. But Emiya, is Castor's doing so bad? I don't teach history. In fact, I've been teaching you quantum aerodynamics all along. No, that would be a plot twist. Is Castor's doing so bad? Now, that's a deep question. He is one of the older folks. Of all the people in the war, he's one of the few that's a bit on the older side. So he's got the potential to be extra cynical and have thoughts like, I mean, if it helps her win, and if winning is good and gives me a wish, or if it's for the greater good somehow, you know. If he's got that kind of mindset, which is a lot more likely to have the older you get, then, But still, Kazuki Suichiro plainly says so.
なんだって。
What?
他人が何人死のうが私には関わりのないことだ。加えてキャスターは命までは取っていない。
It does not concern me how many strangers die. And besides, Castor has not taken anyone's life. Okay, strangers? So, okay, you're a cold person, but you care about your loved ones, right? Then can I tell you about how in another timeline, your brother was controlled by Castor and shanked me and then shanked himself? I guess I don't know that, but it's a thing. But I don't know that. But if I could convince you of that, would you turn to my side of the force? But yeah, this is kind of awkward. It does not concern me how many strangers die, and besides, Castor is not taking anyone's life.
まったく随分と半端なことをしているのだな、キャスター。
But I must say, wow.
一息で根こそぎ奪った方が
Is this real? What? Is this real? Is this all part of the play? Or did he actually not know and Shiro told him just now and she actually was caught off guard and is getting caught off guard like this? It feels too rich. It feels too perfect. It feels like I would just think it's part of the play. To screw with them. I don't know. It's really funny if it's true. It's really clever if it's not. I must say, you aren't very thorough, Castor. You should have drained all of their energy if that is the case. Don't leave witnesses. Har har har. Whoa! He's not any different from usual. Kazuki Suichiro gives his honest opinion. It's about winning the war, right?
無関係の人間を巻き込むつもりか。
Are you going to involve innocent people in this?
すべての人間は無関係だが、まあ私が何者であるかはそちらで言い当てただろう。
I do not care about anyone. Well, you correctly guessed my nature. We could have predicted this, I suppose. Because, you know, they've said all over and over and over the servant is supposed to be somewhat similar to the master that summoned them. So if Castor's a complete bitch, the master shouldn't be too far off.
私は魔術師などではない。ただのそこいらにいる朽ち果てた殺人鬼だよ。
I'm not a magus. I'm just a killer that is rotted away. Excuse me? You're not a magus, but you're still a master. A killer that's rotted away. A killer? Rotted away? What, 3 years ago were you injured trying... Are you like a assassin? And 3 years ago you were injured in one of your assassinations and the Ryudo Temple took you in? Something like that? Huh. Would you care if Issei got involved, though? Do you care about your loved ones, or are you completely heartless? Kazuki takes a step back. So, genuinely, Castor hadn't told any of this stuff to him. Interesting. She was keeping things secret from her own master. Huh. And yet, he's okay with it. Maybe she didn't expect he'd be so okay with it, I suppose, or she just wanted complete control. Too much complete control, because she apparently kills you later on in Timeline 1, so... I wonder what that's all about. Kazuki takes a step back. He watches us from behind Castor.
キャスターの傀儡というのは当たっているがな。
Oh. I honestly had no idea this would go so well. Yeah. You are right that I am Castor's puppet.
私は聖杯戦争など知らん。キャスターが殺し、お前たちが殺し合うというのなら傍観するだけだ。
I do not care about the Holy Grail War. If Castor and you two are going to kill each other, I will just observe.
もっとも、
But
私も自分の命が一番可愛い。キャスターが何を企もうと知らぬ。私はただ私を阻む者を殺すだけだ。
so how did you get involved in the war? Did the Grail just select you? Do you have any magical energy? You must know something about magic for the Grail to have selected you or something. I value my own life. I do not care what Castor is scheming. I only kill those that are attacking me. Okay. You value your own life? Well, she apparently kills you in the other timeline, so... I do not care what Castor is scheming. I only kill those that are attacking me. Okay, you only kill those. You're using the word kill pretty freely. So maybe you were an assassin in the past. You said you rotted away. A past assassin that that got injured in a mission and rested at the Rito Tower. I already said that as an idea, but your heart hasn't mellowed at all in that case. Unless it has a little bit through Issei.
では好きにしろキャスター。生かすも殺すもお前の自由だ。
Do as you wish, Caster. You can kill them or not. Caster is standing in front of us with an expression of victory. I mean, you hid all this shit from him. How does this make you feel, Caster?
ああ、もうとんだ狸同士じゃないあいつら。
Geez, they're both big foxes. At least he's honest. He's not as much of a fox. He was completely honest about his intentions. Caster, might try to, trick people into thinking she's good-natured. She tried to trick Kazuki into thinking she's good-natured. But, Kazuki is just completely blunt. I suppose he's not necessarily... I suppose if anyone asked him at school, are you a bad person? He'd probably say, yeah, probably. No one's just ever asked him? Honest to a fault, but also a bad guy? Caster can be pretty honest too at times, though. She loves bearing her ego over everyone. And even though she'll trick occasionally, she generally prefers gloating. Tosaka complains, but she doesn't move. No, she cannot move. In terms of skills as Magi, we have no chance of beating Caster. Well, Saber's here, isn't she? Be be nice if Archer was here too. Masters are Magi, so we cannot match an excellent Magus like Caster without Saber?
そうか。
I see.
ではここで死しても構わんのだな。キャスターのマスターよ。
Then you do not mind dying here, Caster's master. I mean, you just said he values his own life, but if she's, if you, to be fair, you basically did just say give permission to potentially die here, Mr. Caster's master, sir. Because, I mean, you've just said that you don't care if we die, so we shouldn't care if you die. I mean, alright, fair is fair, I suppose. Then you don't mind dying here, Caster's master. Huh? I hear a voice from behind me. Yeah, it makes sense that Saber would want to protect Shiro like that. Before I can turn around, the servant of the sword, Saber, charges forward. Well, here goes, I guess. This was not quite how I expected this to go. Huh. Was not expecting Kazuki's personality to be quite like that, but interesting. I guess it fits in hindsight.
Saber!
Saber? Even my voice won't catch up to her. I still do wonder if he'd care when he finds out that Issei has been trapped. How cut off is his heart exactly? Even my voice won't catch up to her. Saber is already aimed and charges at Kazuki like the wind. Aimed? Armed? Stop, Saber. Stop. I don't have my thing ready yet that's going to kill you. That's going to take over your body. It takes me a little bit longer to build up the energy. I haven't quite got there yet in this timeline. Caster confronts Saber with her casting. She uses 5 verses for her spell. If Saber is a wind for charging 10 meteors in a flash, Caster is a lightning for finishing her spell even faster. 10 meteors? Yes, 10 meteors. That's what I said. It's a raging thunder at that. A thunder of meteors? Eh. She shoots off 5 bullets of light in under a second, and the bullets pierce Saber like fatal thorns. And they braze her. Magic resistance? No, I don't know a knight that can defend against my magic. Why are you being surprised? Didn't we? It was off-screened, but you were supposed to have faced Saber in earlier. Yes, it was your shadow apparently, but you still should have learned what kind of resistance to magic she has, right? To some extent. So are you bullshitting? Otherwise, this feels like a plot hole, but I don't know a knight that can defend against my magic. Yeah, but we know Saber's high magic resistance. Caster screams. And you also knew to be afraid of Saber when you were talking to Archer earlier. Like, Archer, Saber and Berserker are the only ones I'm really afraid of. So I feel like you're bullshitting. I think this is a trap. I think you know how good Saber's magic resistance is. Even Art tried to evade caster spell, but Saber is nullifying it just by glaring at it. Saber's not looking at caster. Ooh, but at Kazuki. He hated his answer. He hated his indifference. Her target? The one she has to slash is caster's master, Kazuki Soichiro. Ooh. Going for the first time she's going to be attacking a master since Rin in the prologue. Saber slashes Kazuki without hesitation. Oh shit, and it just happens? And he's just dead? Let me guess, this was part of Caster's plan.
Soichiro-sama.
What? Do you care? Do you really care? You don't care. This is an act. This is all an act. This is part of the trap. Somehow. The intersection becomes silent again. Saber stops after slashing her sword. Everyone here thinks that the battle is over due to the incredible speed. Yes. Everyone except Kazuki Soichiro, who is standing there calmly. Whoa, interlude? You give us an interlude there? What the fuck? Charge, stop, slash. Is that a Saber interlude? Okay, what got updated? Status? Caster, Master, Kazuki Soichiro. Hey! So, called it. Did I call that he was Caster's Master? I don't know. I called he was a Master a while ago. I think my initial thought was right. Way back in the day, when I first thought he was a Master, I thought he was going to be Lancer's Master. This is before we knew about the Kirei connection. Since then, I never really pegged him for any specific Master, but I did think he'd be one of the leftover Masters. You know, but before we knew Assassin's Master was Caster herself. But, neutral evil alignment. And so, okay. Beyond that, maybe nothing got added. Anyways, interlude. Saber interlude? You predicted pretty much everyone being a master. Well, obviously, that means I can never be wrong. But Kazuki, I was hard predicting. You know, I minorly predict some people, but also, I never predicted Taiga, not really. I would be very surprised if she somehow ended up being a master. For a long time, I've said I don't think Taiga'd be a master, but... Sakura, I said once we found out Shinji was a master, I said I would be surprised if Sakura was also a master. I wouldn't, that would have thrown me off. I did think there was a plot twist, and then I was unsure for a while. Maybe she's a master. I went back and forth. I'll admit that. Ayako, I wanted to be a master just recently, but I never really thought Ayako was a master. At least not for a majority of it. But she's not a master, so hopefully she's important some other way, because I like Ayako, and we haven't seen her in forever. Anyways, charge, stop, slash. Having repelled all of Caster's spells, Saber settled this match without giving anybody a chance to stop her. Who's interluding exactly? What's the point if it's a Saber interlude? Because we're already just watching from the sidelines as Shiro. So is it like a Kuzuki interlude? A Rin interlude? So we can see. Why even have the point of a Rin interlude? We can just be her perspective now, can't we? We already had one interlude, but it's weird that we had a Rin interlude when we also can just go to her perspective sometimes now. So it's kind of weird in hindsight that we even had a Rin interlude. But Saber settled the match without giving anybody a chance to stop her. The charging speed, her footwork, and her attack were perfect. Her invisible sword slashed the enemy master. A surprise attack at the perfect moment. But, where's the but? Saber's powerful slash splits Kazuki Soichiro in two. Where's the but? No, it should have split him in two. Oh, but... What? Bewilderment causes her to gasp. He's a puppet? Is he literally a puppet? He was summoned 3 years ago to be a master for the Grail War, and he's not a real boy? It should have caused him to split in two, but it didn't. Because he's not a real boy? He said he's a killer, though. So that suggests he's had a proper life before that. I don't know, though. Maybe he's a robot. He's an android. Maybe. Maybe he was a killer. The android killer. So it should have split him in two, but his body is made of vibranium. What is going on? Saber, still in the posture of having swung the sword, stares at the enemy in front of her with blank amazement.
バカな。
No way! Even Saber doesn't understand what is going on. Well, if Saber doesn't, how the fuck am I supposed to? A perfect strike that was slashed horizontally. Did Caster you just use magic to have him dodge it? Or he said that he's a killer, so maybe I was right that he's an assassin, so he just dodged it because he's that awesome. The attack is stopped. No, it's stopped, not dodged. By his vibranium body? By his own sword? Because he has an assassin sword? Because he's an assassin? The sword is stopped before slashing the enemy's body, being caught between something.
足と腕。
Leg and arm? I don't get it. Can such a miracle occur? Her sword has been stopped by her enemy, Kazuki Soichiro. Knee and elbow. Her sword has been stopped, caught between his elbow and knee. He's just awesome. Okay. I mean, I thought he was an assassin, so I guess he's pretty strong. Can he still fight a servant? Like, maybe when she's, you know, at her lower level, but, like, not when she's going all out, probably. He's pretty strong. He is magical in some way, I'd assume, to be made a master. So, magical assassin? He might be a magical assassin. Dash, dash. Saber does not know, of course, that there's a technique to stop an enemy's blade with bare hands, that there are experts today who actually use it. Yeah, because, I mean, well, she knows, she's supposed to know general things about the current time, but I guess that's a little too niche of a thing to just know, because back in her day, that would have been kind of crazy, yeah. But still, she would not have stood there in astonishment if this were a normal fight. This is the battle of a servant, and the enemy is a mere human. For him to stop an invisible sword with his bare body, he must be insane. I mean, your body's pretty insane too. You're like made of swords or something, so.
侮ったな、セーバー。
You underestimated me, Saber. His voice is deep as if coming down from the ground. Ellipses! Exclamation point! Saber's body moves. She tries to pull back her sword with all her might. At that instant, oh boy. Yeah! Oh, Saber is gonna get gutted by a master! An unknown impact strikes her head from the back. Oh. Oh, is that the idea? Kazuki killed Ryder? Because that would be freaking cool that he killed a servant? Because Caster doesn't really fight like that. That would be kind of, yeah? Yeah? Yeah, but Kazuki has to block for cool points. An unknown impact strikes her head from the back. Because Ryder was killed by some kind of dagger or something. So Kazuki must be some kind of assassin, I think. And killed Ryder. But, like... Well, that's so weird, because Kazuki's supposed to not know much about this. I guess Ryder, maybe Kazuki was there that day, but not the other day? Why wasn't he there the other day? In the timeline, he wasn't there when Shinji did his spell in the other timeline, theoretically, but he was there this time for some reason, and knew about it, so he went and killed Ryder, and Shinji never saw? That felt like something that's set up and prepped. Unless he did it without ever being seen because he's that fast as an assassin. I suppose Shinji might not have seen, but even for Ryder to be killed by a servant? Or a master, sorry. That's pretty freaking good. That's some OP levels of good. An unknown impact strikes her head from the back. Ah! She does not understand at all. It is her first time fighting a man that can stop a sword barehanded. Okay, butterfly effect, yes, but I hope that's not the entire excuse. I enjoy the butterfly effect a lot. In fact, I love how it's possible to see in this novel how things change based on what they did in the first timeline to give different results. So it bugs me when I see something and I'm like, wait, why is this different? Why would Kazuki be at the school this time and not that time? Maybe they'll explain it. But if they don't, I'm going to be like, that's a little weak. For a novel that's so good at, and because I am a fan of this, it's so good at showing how point A leads to point B. If they just skipped a step and didn't show in timeline, you know, this time for this thing, I'd be a little like, weak, you could have shown. Anyways, it is their first time fighting a man that can stop a sword barehanded. Then, could this be an attack with his bare hands? Oh. I mean, if he can stop a sword barehanded, maybe you could, you know, I mean, that doesn't quite, it's not quite the same thing, but sure, he's good with his hands, I suppose. Is this just a simple, like, chop to the back of the neck? I thought he was going to whip out his knife and show off his rider beheading technique. She was punched? The back of her head was hit from such close range? Was he not at the school last route? I don't know. Maybe he wasn't. If they said he wasn't, for some reason, I wasn't paying attention. At the very least, he didn't act last time, so... maybe they'll explain it later on. So, yeah, but that's all I'll have to say about it for now. She was punched? The back of her head was hit from such close range? Ellipses! Exclamation point. Alright, this is a pretty intense fight. And I feel like, you know, it's not that long since our last break, but I do have to pee. Suddenly... Kuzuki's a ninja! Oh, fight music. She evades it, still not knowing what it is. Oh, she evaded it? Huh? First time she was punched, the back of her head was hit from such close range. She evades it, still not knowing what it is. Evades it? Half evades it? Didn't you already say that she got hit? Maybe he did it again. She avoided it a second. I don't know. Yeah, there was multiple there. Are those meant to be hand swipes? I guess, based on the animation. Huh? Something goes past her temple. Saber understands it as a fist, strengthened by some magic, and she jumps. Strengthening magic! Hey! High five, buddy! Shiro strengthens too! As she has a long weapon, she is at a disadvantage at close range against an unarmed opponent. He's a monk? Assassin monk. Monk assassin. Magical monk assassin. Saber retreats to short range. Short range, which is better than close range? Okay. The range where she can make use of her sword. There's a technical term for that? Of course. Did he take off his glasses at some point? He has glasses, right? Of course, she keeps facing her enemy. While she does so. He's supposed to have hold on. I go to config, and I go to voices, and I go to Kazuki. Yeah, he has glasses normally. When did he throw those off? She keeps facing her enemy while she does so. She is moving to get out of the range, advantageous to her enemy. Advantageous. Advantages. It is an established rule to pursue a retreating enemy. But the enemy does not pursue her. I mean, he said already that he'll kill someone who comes at him, but, like, he doesn't engage. He's just a defensive assassin now. He's retired his offensive assassinating days. Caster's Master, the man who will be defeated if he stays there, does not move and... Whoa! He does a freaking Hadouken? He pierces her through her solar plexus. Wait, what? I thought he didn't move. He does like some kind of flash step? Without moving? Ellipses, exclamation point, question mark? Is that our first time seeing Saber's face like that? It's a good look for her, what? She breathes out. This we've seen before. She only feels the impact. The attack is stopped by her armor, and only the impact comes to her. He didn't move and yet still hit her? So he's just got long arms, or he's just fast enough? What? The impacts continue. Okay. The things aimed currently at her vital points are human fists. Dash, dash. Did she even have time to gasp? So if he's a monk, is he not the one who slit Ryder's throat then? Did Assassin do that? Or is he like holding back? This isn't even his final form. I'm not even normally a monk. I normally do use blades. Oh, monks can use short blades, I suppose. By the time she realized that his mountain-like fingers are the cause of the impact, the match has already been decided. Alright, sure. Look at that, Shiro. That's something to aspire to be like. You could eventually be as strong as him. Then you'd be able to deal with servants. Wow. I mean, he's good, but why is he so good? Like, you know, even a master that's good at magic, you know, a grown-up good at magic, you know, in the other timeline, in Fate Zero, for example, you know, Kiritsugu, you know, had some conflicts with Kirei, but they mostly left, you know, Kiritsugu didn't ever really try fighting Archer, and Kirei never really messed with Saber. So this is, interesting. And I wonder if he's able to keep up with her because she's weakened as of not having dragon sex yet, or if he's just that good, in which case, why is he just that good? Is he like, theoretically, if he was to have, you know, grudge match between this guy and Fate Zero version of Kirei or Kiritsugu, would he be on that level, or is he intended to be much higher? Because my impression is he'd be much higher, unless Saber is just super weakened by not having dragon sex. If he is much higher, why? The fists shower down on her. The man's fists are fired in rapid succession with heaviness and intensity as if they are made of iron. How should it be expressed? His arms are flexible like a whip, but they move in right angles. Right angles, not math! Ugh! If his arms are shot out like a flash, his forearms that move from there are like the techniques of a fierce god. Normally, Shiro does these fangasms when watching servants fight, but nope, now it's time to fangasm over a master. Hagu! The almost invisible attacks are all attacking her in her weak spots. He allows no counterattack. So, if Kazuki is as good as a servant, and Castor is a servant, and we only have one servant, we probably want to fuck off at this point, because we probably are outmatched at the moment. He allows no counterattack. Even her arms are targeted, and the pain reaches her core even through her armor. And at this point, all the pretense is gone, right? So, like, if all the pretense is gone, can we even afford to go to school anymore? This guy doesn't seem to give a shit about Castor getting all those victims. Would he be willing to let bygones be bygones while they go to school? I think he would, actually. Castor might not, but I don't think he would actually care. He seems very uncaring about things in general. Apathetic is the word. Even her arms are targeted, and the pain reaches her core, even through armor. The attacks all come from the outside to the inside. The swinging arms change directions using the elbows as the fulcrum. Oh yeah, fisticuff, monk style. And they beat Saber from impossible directions, and yet you still seem to notice them to some extent. What she said. They are sharp and dull. That's not normal. It is not an instant kill, but they contain poison that will lead to death. Fists contain poison? Did he poison his fists? What? I guess that's possible. But, like, if it's poison that goes with contact with skin, it'd be contacting his fist. I guess he could be immune to the poison. Is this just hyperbole? Is this not actually poisoned? Because, like, why would you use the word poison? I think he's, like, assassin type-ish. So, using the word poison could mess with my mind. That is all that is contained in these attacks. Even though the fists cannot be avoided, they aren't that heavy. But the pain numbs her mind every time she receives a blow. Taking that small opening, the fist goes for the back of her head like a death scythe. She avoids it instinctively. Attacks going for her arms and body are fine, but the back of the head would prove fatal for her. Even from a master? I guess in the right spot. So why is he so good? Why is he so good? I know Ryder is supposed to be like the weakest servant, and I guess Saber is weaker right now because of not having dragon sex, but like, he's still good. He's still good. Therefore, Saber concentrates on that one attack. A monster that can stop a sword with his bare hands. Facing these strange attacks that she's experiencing for the first time, the only thing she trusts are her own instincts.
よくかわす。まだ混乱しているというのにな。
Yes, this guy is apathy incarnate for sure. You are doing well. And you are still confused too, yet you value your own life. If you're so apathetic, why do you even care if you live? Is it for your new life that was saved by the Ryudos? Do you actually care about Issei? I think you care about Issei. I think that's your weakness. And we might be able to exploit that and turn you against Castor somehow. If we can somehow prove that he's, you know, trapped without actually knowing he's trapped at the moment. Because that didn't happen in this timeline for some reason. And you are still confused too. The enemy's arms stop moving. His stance is like his arms, steady like a rock. I mean, usually the arms would be part of the stance, but I guess that's fair. Your arms could be literally like a rock, and then your stance could also be a rock-hard stance.
なるほど。目がいいのではなく、勘がいいということか。
It is not your eyes that are exceptional, but your intuitions. It's Shiro that has exceptional eyes. Dash dash. The man moves. What is different about the attack? Why is this even an interlude? Like, this could totally just be Shiro's perspective. Why is this even an interlude? What's the point? Maybe the point is that Shiro can't keep up with this, or Shiro's doing something else in the meantime. We find out after the fact that Shiro's doing something else. Just feels weird. Anyways, what is different about the attack? Saber, who's avoiding all the fatal blows, could not dodge his attack. Okay. Her mind fades. The impact landing on the back of her head shakes her brain. That's bad. You need the brain to do things. Lots of sound effects. She still manages to raise her hands. The man's attack cannot penetrate through her armor. Well, that's good. If she didn't have the armor, she'd probably be dead. Then the man will go for her bared head. Saber raises her arms to protect her face. The impact comes through the arms. This fight's not terrible, but it does feel a little drawn out. Like, I get the idea. I get it. He's like a monk and he's cool and stuff. And it just feels like we're going on and on the same thing. She's on the defensive. She's not doing the best. I feel like we could just get it over with. It's like a snake crawling through a thick forest. The enemy's fists are easily making their way through. Her mind fades away. The body of the snake, his left elbow, smashes into her collarbone. Okay, finally making progress. I think she's beat up now, right? Is that the fight? No, Saber avoids it by retreating a bit and grips her sword. Just knock her out already. Get it over with. Or maybe I can block? What's Shiro doing? Is he still just thinking about how to protect Rin? I guess that's why it's an interlude. Maybe Shiro's doing something else. The course of the fist after that. She readies herself for the blow that will go for the back of her head from the left side. She cannot make light of him anymore. If the enemy is to take her consciousness, she will let him. Oh. You'll just fight unconscious. Of course, totally normal. But she will cut down his arms as compensation. She opens her eyes wide and... Oh, that sounds big. She is astonished at the change. With the elbow as the fulcrum, the blow comes straight down from above. The circular object of his attacks changed to a straight line. Crazy! Wow! Such good fight. Gah. She instinctively moves her neck to avoid the blow. Oh my god, it just keeps going. Just one of you kick each other's ass already. She instantly moves her neck to avoid the blow, going for her head. Gah. The impact lands on her shoulder. She glares at her enemy with her left shoulder destroyed, and her spine freezes up the instant she does so. I haven't felt... Wow. I rarely feel bored by fights in this visual novel. The one time, which I did notice and pointed out, was when it was Shiro vs. Kirei, but in the wrong ending. Right? Because I pointed out when we actually got to the right ending, like, wow, this is actually really cool. And they made it much better through all the effects and stuff that went on. But this one, I don't know, I just think it's kind of... It's just drawn out. Might be the weakest fight so far, I don't know. At least just, you know, I don't know. Because I haven't really felt this bored with a fight. Except for the Kirei one, but again, that was a bad timeline one, so it's kind of different, I think. Are we on a bad timeline? And her spine freezes up the instant she does so. The man moves back half of his body. His right hand has not been used yet. The fist that is set at the height of the throat is released like a cannon. Dash is dash. Unlike the previous attacks that followed a line, this attack is executed as a point. A thrusting fist aimed at the person in front of him. You know, unlike all those other attacks that weren't aimed at the person in front of him. With his force and precise accuracy, he should be able to pierce through her. With his charged attack, it should be easy to pierce Saber's throat, break her bone, and smash her into pieces. But she blocks somehow, and it keeps going. It misses. A surprise attack is useless on her, and she has instincts bordering on precognition. Just make out already. The snake-like fist grazed past her neck. Seeing that, she tries to step into attack, but at that moment... Oh, finally, is there something? Finally, okay. Whoo! Yeah, that was boring. Bam! An unbelievable sound comes from right beside her neck. The snake's fang pierces her. Okay, now that I'm actually paying attention again. What? The snake-like fist grazes past her neck. Oh, was that like a not a normal graze past her neck? It was actually a you are already dead graze past her neck. She tries to step in the attack, but at that moment, wow! Wowzers! The snake fang pierces her. So it's just with his fists? He doesn't even use, like, weapons? He, like, slashes people's throats and necks with his fists? That's pretty hardcore. The instant it is dodged, the attack that passed her uses its fingers to dig into her neck with a sound. Oof.
Anchor.
Anchor? What? Excuse me? Who? The shock passes through as a shoulder. Anchor? Is that a technique? Is that a person? Is that a place? What is anchor? Anchored? Do you mean you've been anchored? Anyways, so master beats servant. Saber's the best servant though, guys. I did a count a while ago for who the weakest masters were. And I came up with, like, Rin as being, like, the weakest after Shinji. And I think that holds true at this point. Because this guy's fucking badass. Caster counts as one of the masters. She's awesome. Shiro, I think, when he's using his full potential, is definitely better than Rin. Kirei, I think, is better than Rin. And then Ilya, we haven't seen her fight much, but I think, given her nature, I think she's, she does tend to stand back a lot. And I don't know how she'd be in a close-up fight, but I'm going to give it to her and say that she's, would be better than Rin. Which puts Rin above Shinji, but just Shinji, I would say. My opinion. I'm not going to list the rest, just, yeah, Rin comes out as second worst. The shock passes through her as a shoulder. A shudder. Shoulder? Yeah, whatever. It passes through her shoulder, probably. The fingers go past the shoulder to hit the back of the neck. Yes, a hand is originally something used to grab, not punch. It must be supported by caster's magic, as the enemy's fingers easily squeeze off her neck. Oh, like it's being enhanced by caster? Okay, neat. Does Saber die? Do we continue the rest of the timeline with just Archer? That'd be a cool plot twist. I'd be down for it. Saber's sword is raised. Her sword moves to cut off the enemy's arm before her neck is crushed. But she is unable to finish her attack. Before the sword is swung, her body itself is swung like a sword. She feels her body fly through the air. I could see it happening because there's like multiple timelines and all that shit. But if it did, it'd be interesting to think how something like the Unlimited Blade Works could happen, because in a lot of ways the anime, I mean, it feels like a follow-up to that same studio's version of Fate Zero. So if that was how Saber got ousted, it'd be fucking hilarious in a dark way. She feels her body fly through the air. An overswing like a pitcher. The man holds onto Saber's neck and he throws her with one arm. A fastball with a human as a ball. Are you alive? There's no way she can land safely from it. We know he can kill servants. It's been foreshadowed. He already killed Ryder. I think that's the idea at this point. There's no way she can land safely from it. Her neck is scraped off, and she is smashed into a concrete wall at a speed of 200 kilometers per hour. If that was a normal person, they'd definitely be dead. If it's a servant, they might be alive? Are you dead? Do we never have dragon sex? Because you just never live long enough for us to have dragon sex? Her body is forced to stop its action. Interlude out. Because Saber's dead now? Dash, dash, dash. Everyone watches it in astonishment. Not just me and Tosaka. Caster's surprised by how badass he is too? Even Caster, who should be overwhelmed with victory, watches her master in astonishment. Whoa! What the fuck? And here I thought I was only cheating by having 2 servants on my side. Turns out I've got my masters at servant level 2. There's 3 of us, basically. Woof! And somehow Assassin and her master died off screen. I don't know, like that's weird now that I realize how awesome he is at being a master. She said she killed her master. Did she realize how badass he was? Did she become afraid of him when she saw how badass he was? Maybe Assassin tried to turn on her, and Kazuki attacked Assassin. I wonder, does he know about Assassin? Probably not, or at least not the full details. Maybe Assassin turned on her, Kazuki killed Assassin, and then she was like, what the fuck, you're too dangerous, and killed him? Who should be overwhelmed with victory watches her master in astonishment. Saber's quick charge to Kazuki's counterattacks. From the nightmare-like neck grab to the perfect throw that fascinated even us. Dash, dash, dash. Saber doesn't move. She was thrown by her neck and smashed back first into the wall. If she was killed off, I think she'd at least live long enough to say, Shiro, please, something motivational. And she'd call back to what she said the other day about, why do you want to be a hero? And then she'd die. If they're going to do that. That'd be dark. Thrown by her neck and smashed back first into the wall. The wound on her neck should be fatal, but she's a servant. Even worse, she hit the wall with such speed. I don't think it killed her, but I'm sure she won't be able to move. At the very least, Saber will stay on the ground until the wounds on her neck and body heal. So, Kazuki seems very much like he will only attack if someone comes at them. That's what he said. That's what he seems like. So, nobody go at him. And maybe we'll be okay. We might be able to deal with Caster, but I don't want to fuck with that guy.
そんなバカな。
No way! I murmur without realizing. Even though his fists are strengthened using Caster's magic, Kazuki is only a human. Who could possibly think that he'd be able to overwhelm a servant in hand-to-hand combat? So I'd probably go Kazuki as best master, then Kirei as number 2, probably. Shiro might be number 2 at full power, but I'll give it to Kirei and call Shiro number 3. Ilya might also be number 3 if Shiro's not at full power. Debatable. We haven't really seen her in a proper fight. I'll go Shiro number 3, Ilya 4, but maybe Ilya 3, Shiro 4 is more correct. And then, who does that leave again? Rin 6, Shinji 7. Oh, I completely forgot that Caster counts as a master. Never mind, Caster's the best master, I think? I don't know, Kazuki's pretty fucking good. But probably in that case, it'd go Caster, Kazuki, Kirei, Ilya, Shiro, I'll say they're tied. Then Rin, then Shinji. If Shiro's full power, he might be on par with Kazuki. But even then, I don't think so, to be honest. Unless him full power means being a servant, realizing the fact that he's a servant from the future past. If that's him being full power, then maybe he'd be on that level. Who could possibly think that he'd be able to overwhelm a servant in hand-to-hand combat?
マスターの役割は後方支援などと決めつけるのはいいがな。
It's fine to assume that the master's role is to support the battle from the back. The lean figure turns. When did your glasses come off? Did you throw them off to start kung fu fighting, or did they just come off naturally? Did you always have them off tonight? I feel like you had them on earlier.
例外は常に存
That's a
在
new
す
look.
る。私のように前に出るしか能のないマスターもいるということだ。
But there are always exceptions. There are masters who can only fight head-on. He just proved that to us. Masters who can only fight head-on. You're supposed to support from the back? Yeah, he actually has a good combination, because his servant is better at building up power and shooting things from the back. And he's good at the front. So yeah, they definitely are an exception to the rule as far as teams go. He just proved that to us. So, their roles as the one to fight and the one to support are reversed.
何をしているキャスター。事前に言っておいただろう。
What are you doing, Caster? I told you earlier.
後方支援をするのなら敵の飛び道具は始末しておけと。
If you are to support me, you are to eliminate the enemy's projectile weapons. I mean, he told you this earlier, so you must have had this talk, but she maybe didn't fully realize at the time just how awesome he is. The enemy, Kazuki, stares at Tosaka. Oh! A threat to him would not be Saber, but Tosaka who's able to attack from a distance. Oh boy. Yeah, okay, they complement each other then, because Caster is really bad with magic resistance. Maybe Caster was genuinely caught off guard. It's okay. If Caster was genuinely caught off guard by Saber having good magic resistance, then I don't like that it was completely off-screened, because that lets our mind wander. I feel like if they at least on-screened it enough, or Saber maybe could have said something like, she never actually attacked me. If they threw that in there, maybe they didn't, I'm forgetting. I don't think so. If they said, oh, she never actually attacked, she just instantly ran away. If they said that, fine. But if they said that, then it's more believable that, wait, what? Her magic resistance is that good? Then fair. But it is kind of funny that in that case, Saber is worse against the master than the servant because of her good magical resistance. But Kazuki is all physical, no magic. It seems like maybe strengthening magic. That's it. So it's kind of neat in that sense. And then Rin, who you'd think is a worse master than Kazuki, I feel like it's a given. It has at least the long range advantage. So it's cool looking at the rock, paper, scissors angle. But Caster is obviously a better long range person than Rin. That's why he won't attack us. I mean, Shiro's also a close range person, but he at the moment does not hold a candle to Kazuki. Even full power is debatable, unless his full power is more powerful than we've seen earlier, because last time he tried fighting a servant in Timeline 1, he did, like, against Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh was impressed by how well he did, but he still didn't come close to winning the fight. That's why he won't attack us. He fully knows that letting a Magus fight a Magus would be the most sure way to kill.
どうしたキャスター好きにしていいと言ったが
What's wrong, Caster? I told you that you can do as you wish. Is she contemplating your role and if she's okay with you as her master?
いえ、セイバーには私が手を下します。宗一郎、あなたは残ったマスターを。
No, I will take care of Saber. Suichiro, please take care of the masters. Huh. Based on that response, she was probably expecting Suichiro to die and she wouldn't have cared? I think that she has a way to keep living on. She wants to take Saber out. She has her trap card, like she activated at the end of Timeline 1, where she took control of Saber in the one bad ending. That was her plan, clearly. So maybe that's why she doesn't want Suichiro to fight Saber. And he's like, go after the Masters. I don't care if you kill them. I want Saber. But also, I think she was probably fine with Kazuki dying just there. And the fact that he lived is a happy thought. Happy, maybe? It begs the question of how he died in the other timeline. It really does. Assumedly long range, so Castor could do that if she wanted. If she was scared of him, maybe. But why would she be scared of him? It's not like he has good magic resistance. That's really interesting to think of. Anyways, please take care of the masters. Did she say... She said her master was dead, but she might have actually said she straight up killed him. I wasn't sure how true that was. I think she might have said she actually killed her master. Now, I wonder if when she did it, she realized how badass he was. Or she did it, like, when he wasn't noticing. She might have done it when he wasn't noticing, not knowing that he was totally fine with all her bullshit. And just once she had built up enough power, she killed him when he wasn't looking because she thought it was too scary to let him know that there was no reason to keep him around anymore, not knowing how much of a badass he actually was. That's possible, I guess. Because she treated it like it was nothing. But it's actually kind of a fucking big deal. And keeping him on your side might actually be a good thing. I mean, I don't know how good he'd do against Berserker in a hand-to-hand fight. But he kicks Saber's ass, at least. Dash. Kazuki silently nods and walks towards us. I thought you were just gonna be on the defense! I didn't think you were gonna... No, mommy, please! Castor faces Sarah behind him. Okay.
ちょっとセイバーは面食らってやられたけど、あいつのネタは分かってる。要は近づかれる前に倒せばいいんでしょ?
Fine. Saber was taken aback, but I already know his attacks. We just have to beat him before he gets close to us. There is no we in that case. I am a close-range fighter. This is all you, lady. Finally get a chance to prove yourself. I mean, if the idea here is Shiro's gonna whip out the yin-yang swords to fight this guy, the notion that he's even able to keep up with him is crazy. If that is where this goes, and he doesn't just get his ass kicked, he might whip out the swords and get his ass kicked. That could happen. But if he actually keeps up to some extent, then I feel we're getting a huge reveal here. More than just he can sword birth. Because I don't think Shiro, as we knew him, with sword birthing from Timeline 1, could keep up with this guy. I don't think he could keep up with Saber. I think he can, like, maybe one-shot. He's good enough to do, like, one big blow in Timeline 1, but not, like, a consistent fight. Maybe he just needs to get one good shot in, but if he's, like, delaying, in my mind, he's going to delay while Rin sets up some big spell from the back. Shiro's not much of a delayer from Timeline 1. He whips out his one awesome one-trick pony. Maybe he can do it one more time, and then he's donezo. But maybe we'll see some development past that here. Maybe his instincts will make him really fast, and suddenly be like, why is he so good? He shouldn't be that good. Or he gets his ass kicked. Or he only needs the one shot. We just have to beat him before he gets close to us. Tosaka slowly retreats while glaring at Kazuki. A battle between a magus and a fighter is a fight for distance. Uh-huh. Even though Kazuki has monstrous fighting techniques, he has no magic resistance. We think he's magical to some extent. I'm curious about how he's a master exactly. How he got involved in this whole shindig. Hopefully we get some of that story at some point. But, he has no magic resistance. Therefore we can win if we cast something. Or can you? We win if we manage to cast a spell before he reaches us. I mean, couldn't he, like, dodge it? He could potentially dodge it. Dash, dash. Kazuki faces Tosaka and does not move. Caster is walking toward the wall where Saber is smashed. I guess this is a good chance to try to take over her mind if you want to. I guess she's living long enough to, you know, be used against Berserker later. That action is a mistake. Which action? Going towards Saber? Because she's gonna, shonen power, actually be okay all along. That's an opening I can take advantage of. So now, now what? Oh god. Waifu fight choice. Okay, so waifu fight choice. This is an interesting one because, like, theoretically it's the Ren route, so help Tosaka. But, I already talked about how he'll probably kick my ass. Then again, Shiro doesn't have magic resistance either, unless he's Archer, which case, I mean, even Archer's magic resistance was iffy. He's got Avalon. Does that give him some connection to Saber, giving him some magic resistance? I think, in theory, he's not very good against either of them. And I think because it's the Rin route, our best chance probably is to protect Rin, theoretically. Like, I feel like strategically, there's nothing doing here. I don't think either of these are good options. If we get close to Kazuki, he kicks our ass, I feel. And if we try to intercept Caster, he probably still kicks our ass before we get close. But even if he doesn't, Caster can just shoot out some kind of magic thing. We might be better helping Saber, but I think protecting Tosaka is our best bet. If Tosaka is readying some kind of spell, it also seems like, I don't know, because Saber is down for the count. I could see it going either way. I don't think there's a great answer, but I think my idea of where the narrative is going is that Shiro's going to whip out the yin-yang swords and be awesome. So it's this kind of a meta answer, but I think he's going to whip them out and be awesome against Kazuki to some extent. I don't see him doing much of anything special against Caster. With the swords, I mean. Not like clashing the swords against the fists versus swiping out and she just dodges or something. Or magics out of the way. So I'm going to protect Tosaka because of that. Though I could see this going either way. But I'll protect Tosaka. Was that the right choice or are we going to die? Let's find out. Saber isn't dead yet. In fact, maybe before we find out. Is protecting Tosaka correct? Just say Rin, just say Rin. When will Shiro start calling her Rin? Even though Kazuki was an unexpected monster, Saber hasn't lost yet. And besides, Caster shouldn't be able to finish Saber off. I mean, I feel like she wants to, like, mindjack her. Dash, dash, dash. I put strength into my grip. I glare at Kazuki, so as to not miss even his blinking. I mean, without his glasses on, does it become easier or harder to see his blinking? And that's just a game. The instant he faces Tosaka, I slide myself in between them. Giggity? Knowing Tosaka, I bet she'll jump instantly to the side to shoot Kazuki. But what? Instead, she gets freaked out, being like, Shiro, you can't fight that monster! Oh shit, he just, like, ninjas around you? Yeah! There's no time to do so. It happens in an instant. The instant I think Kazuki's body wavered, he's in front of Tosaka. He ninja'd. I mean, she's not fast enough to do spells and maybe not in the right mindset with Shiro being involved. She's probably was worried about Shiro. Oh no, if Shiro gets close to him, we're done for. And then didn't even get a chance, maybe? She's astonished, but Tosaka instantly points her hand at Kazuki. Is her hand faster than his hands? But the right hand that almost pierced Saber's neck strikes Tosaka right in her chest. Oh, fuck! I chose to protect Tosaka. Was that the wrong choice? I mean, does it... Oh, it doesn't... He's just using the fist. He's not using the fingernails. If he used the fingers, he probably could stab through her chest. It might just pound her a bit. This gives us a chance to maybe actually protect her instead of fail horribly. Time stops for Tosaka. She's hit right in the center of the body and has her breath stopped. Sure be nice if Archer was here. Unless he is, because I am Archer. That's it. As she cannot breathe, she cannot cast her spells. And as most of her ability as a mag is cut off. What was the point of that being an interlude, where we just saw Saber's perspective for a bit? I feel like that could have just not been an interlude and not really changed anything. Anyways, as she cannot breathe, she cannot cast her spells, and as most of her ability as a mag is cut off. She managed to instantly jump back, so the attack only stopped her breath. But the next attack, even though she jumped back, it's only about a meter or so. You want to try actually doing the thing I chose to do? Protect her? Such a distance. It's not even considered a retreat against Kazuki. Uh-oh. I move in between them. Using my wooden sword as a shield, I face Kazuki, who's about to attack Tosaka. Smart of him going for Tosaka first, knowing that she's the one who would give him problems if she gave him time to prep something. Whereas he can mostly just ignore me, because he can deal with me whenever, since I'm just a close-range person and I'll just get scrubbed out by him. Which I'm probably just about to. He'll probably swat me away like a fly. He thrusts his fist. I can't see it? How did Saber avoid such a... I desperately protect my left side. Instinct! I don't think Saber ever saw it. It was just her instinct, I'm pretty sure. Just like it's going to be yours that saves you, maybe, question mark. Your wooden sword as a shield. That's not going to work for much longer, buddy. You got a sword birth your yin-yang swords. Whatever, I forget what they're actually called. Hold on, let me check. I can check. Kansho and Bakuya. Not to be confused with Byakuya. I hear a heavy sound in the sound of my wooden sword breaking. Hey! You lost your sword. Alright, yin-yang sword time. Probably just going to keep calling them those Kansho and Bakuya. I mean, they're fine. That's fine names. They're fine names, but I just think of yin-yang swords, so you know. I see Kazuki getting ready for his next attack. I'll die. I feel it instinctively. My strengthened wooden sword was like metal. If he can destroy it in one blow, he can destroy any part of my body. I can't stop him. Tosaka is coughing painfully behind me. I can't see his attacks, and my only weapon was destroyed. His fist accurately goes for my temple. Emi Ashira will die from that hammer-like attack! I'll die if I don't stop it. A weapon! Oh, you said that you'll die if you don't stop it, but now the fists are right back in front of him. You were seeing the future. Premonition! A weapon. I can't match him. I'll need a strong weapon to make up for the vast difference in our powers. I mean, it could have been Saber's sword, but you're going to cheat on her this time and use Archer's weapons, I guess. It closes in on my brain. I imagine myself dying. No, if that happens, I'll die if I can't stop it from dying. No, if I die, I'll be dead. A weapon. I need a weapon. A weapon that he can't destroy. Not a quickly furnished weapon like a wooden sword, but a proven strong weapon. One that keeps coming back whenever it gets broken. Like the Lancer Archer fight. Those Archer swords, they keep coming back. Thirsty for more. But I mean, if that's like a nature of the sword, if you bring back the proper sword, I guess it'll work, yeah. If you were to bring back an imitation, it wouldn't work, but you are bringing the real, or at least a perfect imitation that acts like the real weapon, which is what Saber talked about in the other pathway, even if it vanishes instantly. But you need to get it to stay around for a little bit, maybe. Or maybe not, though, if you can get in one good swing. The finest quality at that, a weapon undeserved by me. Yes, the weapon he carries would surely...
トレースオン
All right. I guess to be fair, we still don't know yet in this timeline that we still don't know that Saber is King Arthur. I mean, we, the viewer, of course, know. But we don't know. We haven't seen her unleash it, so we don't know about her swords. When Shiro first did Sword Birth in Timeline 1, it was after we had already learned about her and, like, Excalibur and all that. She has not done that in this timeline, so I guess he wouldn't know enough to know what sword she even uses. So it makes sense that he'd go to this instead, I guess. Meanwhile, Kazuki just politely stands there, probably. Yeah, that's my thinking, though, is that Kazuki isn't standing there waiting. He just is able to think all of this that fast because time literally slows down for him because he's super special awesome. Then I'll make them. I'll make them even if it's impossible. I'll make them no matter what the consequences may be. I make myself believe that strengthening and reproduction, things that already exist and things that do not already exist, are similar. That's right, there's no time to think. Fake them no matter what. Yes! Fake to the extreme. That might be your best superpower, Shiro. It does not matter if something gets destroyed in the process. I don't care even if it's just a fake. Hurry, forget everything. Don't I know that I'm not the only one who'll be killed? If I can't stop it, Tosaka will. Oh, that's good because in Timeline 1, Shiro was like, dumb and stuff. And so he was naturally just not knowing things and using instinct. But in Timeline 2, he's smarter. And so he has to stop himself and be like, I have to be stupid. Forget everything. This shouldn't be possible. But I'll make it possible anyway. I can ask myself how I did it later. If I can't stop it, Tosaka will. Ba-da-bum-bum-bum. No way. Oh, yeah. And she's going to be like, those are archer swords. Oh, this reminds me. I remember, I think this song did play when Archer was first fighting Lancer. I don't know if it's meant to be like the Archer fight song. I don't think so. I think we've heard it even when Saber fights without Archer. But I'm pretty sure it did play when Archer was fighting Lancer. So you could, in theory, be thought of as sort of an Archer fight song. That spectacle. And Ren's going to see it, and now and she can't go any further and falls madly in love with me. I mean, she was already in love, but now she's madly in love. Tosaka speaks out for me. Or, am I in love with my servant? Archer, what the fuck? No, we won't have that plot twist yet. This might be my favorite fight song. There's a lot of fight songs. This might be my favorite one. I really like it. A deep voice. Is that Kazuki's voice? My head is bobbing to the music. I can't help it. It just happens. Something might have happened to my ears as I can't hear him properly. Did they transform and they become black because you're turning into art? Tan in advance. No, not only my ears, but my senses of my limbs are too weak. You're losing feeling of your proper senses because they're not your own, or they're connected to Archer. Maybe that is the idea. You're Archer from the future, and so Archer being summoned here is abnormal and affecting you in weird ways and making you lose control of what you even are. Maybe. Only my right eye is functioning. Well, if that's enough to see him, I mean, maybe you wouldn't even need that with your instincts. Maybe you just need to see the right eye so your instincts can see it happening for the instincts to instinct? I watch the approaching fist. I observe as someone else's action blocks the attack. Archer's action? Dash, dash, dash. Yeah, this is interesting. When Shiro did Sword Birth in the other timeline, things didn't get all crackly like this. And he also didn't completely lose himself like this. This suggests, this is further credence to the idea of the Shiro as Archer theory, because summoning his weapons might make him lose himself more the idea of being Archer. I suppose. My arm feels hollow, or both of them even. Even though I have no feeling, I hear my nerves tearing off. In my hands are his twin swords. Yang sword Kasho and Yin sword Bakuya. The names of the swords. Even though they're haphazardly reproduced, the swords still present their existences to the wielder. But I'm sorry. I can't project you guys perfectly with my skills. Pime Pterodox? It could very well be a Pime Pterodox, yes. Unless there was actually a beginning somehow, like there's a timeline 0, and that timeline Shiro grew up and became Archer, and this is like, or that was timeline 1, and this is timeline 2. So, it's still kind of paradoxical, but there could be a chronological beginning. Depends on the method of time travel they decide to employ. I think we already are on loop theory. I think Saber, because of Saber, we're on loop theory, though. Because Saber, unless the Grail fucks with it, because Saber is like a servant because she asked the Grail to eventually obtain it, and that's how she became a servant, because it's like, I don't have the Grail, but in the future I have to get the Grail, because I'm going to become a servant. In the future I'll have gotten the Grail. It was this whole thing, it was kind of weird, but I feel like that established that we're on loop theory. I don't know though, it's been a while, maybe I'm remembering wrong, or maybe there's like a loophole where it doesn't actually have to be loop theory, but anyways, I can't project you guys perfectly with my skills. Gah! Dash, dash. Oh, broken immediately. But just like Archer swords, normally they get repaired immediately, right? And you don't have to remake them, do you? We spring apart. If you were actually able to keep up with his speed, that's the more important part. Having weapons that can maybe keep up with his strength is one thing, but keeping up with his speed is a whole other thing. You said that the action didn't even feel like your own. So yeah, woof. The twin swords that parried 30 attacks break as if saying they cannot take anymore. They parried 30 attacks? And you just did that naturally? That is definitely not normal, Shiro. That's what I was saying. That was like you were a one-shot pony in Timeline 1. This is something else. It's not because they lost against Kazuki's fists. The swords disappeared because I couldn't maintain their image. Dash, dash. The twin swords must have been unexpected, as Kazuki shows hesitation for the first time. Ah, he didn't think I'd be such a fancy-wancy master. Maybe he realized just how strong they are, and he probably knows something of magic. I would think he has to be somewhat magically inclined to be a master, even if he's not a proper magus. So he'd probably be like, wait, what? I strengthened my fists. I thought making stuff was harder than that. Then, a strong wind is created in the intersection.
Saber!
Saber! You're okay! I look towards the wall. I'm sorry, I haven't seen your Excalibur yet, so I didn't really know who you were, so I couldn't make your other sword, because I didn't know you had another sword, because I didn't know who you were. Are you going to use your Excalibur now? We haven't had Dragon Sex yet. Then again, you were able to use one Excalibur usage in the other timeline before we needed the Dragon Sex, so you could probably do one Excalibur usage now, right? And be okay? You have not done one yet. Saber must have healed as if she is standing up. As she is standing up. It's not as if she is. Also, what happened with Caster? Did Saber just get up too quickly? Recovered too fast? Maybe her connection to me recovered her. Maybe because I have Avalon inside of me and our proximity and my attention healed her? I don't know. Caster is backing away from her. If I'm only mentally chronologically going forward, I should have Avalon and Saber shouldn't. If there's any kind of physical correlation, that gets weird though, because if it's only Shiro that's time traveling, then how would Saber have the Avalon back? No, based on things that have been happening, Shiro's still having those healings. He still has the Avalon. It's just musings. Castor's backing away from her. Yes, that's why it was a mistake. Even though she was defeated, Saber still had her powers. So there's no way Saber, who has powerful magic resistance, could be cornered by Castor. This crazy fog that's going over him. I mean, it's not fog, but, you know, static. That's the word. She still has powers. She's not completely bested yet, and with all her magic resistance, yeah, Castor would need some super awesome magic, which maybe she hasn't quite prepped yet. Unlike in Timeline 1 where she had prepped it. It is Kazuki's role to finish Saber off. But Castor made a mistake. She must have been planning something, but that extra thing caused her to lose out on her perfect chance. Extra thinking. She was planning something, planning to take control of Saber. I believe so, but maybe Saber's not injured enough for her to do it yet. Maybe Castor hasn't built up enough magic to do it instantly. Maybe she set up like some kind of circle so that Saber would run into it and be trapped by it after she set it up in Timeline 1. And so she needs some time to set it up. This is on the fly. We were ambushing Kazuki, so she wouldn't have had time to set something up. So maybe she had to take time to do it now, but didn't have the time to do it because Saber's more okay than she expected. I guess I'm willing to buy that. That extra thinking caused her to lose out on her perfect chance. Dash, dash, dash. Kazuki retreats. He retreats against Shiro! Oh boy! Shiro's a real boy! He stands as if to protect Castor. Protect Castor? He thinks Castor needs protecting from me? That's the biggest compliment I could get from this guy.
ここまでだ。引くぞ、キャスター。
This is it. We'll retreat, Castor. You're retreating from me? Wow, can I look in a mirror? Do I still look like Shiro Emiya? He makes a precise decision. This might be the first time he's truly deciding anything as a master.
マスター。いいえ、セイバーは手負いです。あなたなら先ほどのように。
Master, no, Saber is hurt. You should be able to defeat her again. Oh, if his retort is something like, maybe if she was just alone, but I can't handle her and the boy at the same time, or something. Oh, you should be able to defeat her again. Relying on your frickin' master to do the fighting. That's great.
二度通じる相手ではない。侮ったのは私の方だったな。
Oh? She is not someone who would fall for it twice. It is I who underestimated her. Oh, are you thinking that that was going to be a for sure kill against her? You thought she was dead, and then it didn't kill her, and you're like, oh, fuck. It didn't kill her. Probably because a similar move killed Ryder, and you're like, I guess that's just how strong servants are. But then it didn't kill Saber, so you're like, oh, fuck, not all servants are made equally. Probably something like that. Well, if that is what you thought, you need a little lesson about the strength of the different servants. You know, Saber is the best servant after all. So she would withstand it even if Ryder doesn't. You should get a crash course.
あと一芸手を凝らすべきだった。
I should have attacked her one more time. Should have went for the big... Yeah, makes sense. And he's smart, too. I mean, of course he is. He's probably an assassin, I would assume. A magical assassin. Is my assumption. Magical monk assassin. Maybe in the past he didn't use his fists. I don't know. But he can kill with his fists, so maybe he did. Wait, monk. I keep saying monk but because I'm thinking of D&D, because monks fight with their fists. But his temple is a temple of monks. Is there a correlation there? Is he like a magical assassin for the monk association? Does he do the dirty deeds that the normal monks won't do? Underground monk association of... I should have attacked her one more time. Kazuki is right. Saber was cornered because Kazuki's techniques were too odd. But that's only up to now. Saber now will know how to deal with them this time. Huzzah! Castor, how come the Grail have two assassins? I can't cope with it no matter how many times I receive them, but Saber is already used to the attacks. You can't cope with it no matter how many times you receive them? You were able to deal with fucking Kazuki apparently at least 30 of his blows. You kept up with the man. You're selling yourself short. The main point of a tactic is not to have a concrete shape. Even though they're strong, Kazuki's attacks are too odd, so they're easily seen through. Oh. So you can be like, oh, they're odd, so they have a particular nature? Is that what you mean? Therefore, they must be fatal on the first strike. Ah, you made the classic Lancer mistake of going for your big strike and then failing because Saber is a main character. That is the difference between a technique that is trained to an art and an action that is trained to the utmost limits. Wait, which was his? Wait. The main point of a tactic is to not have a concrete shape. His is strong. Wait, an action. So he trained his actions to the utmost limits, but his actions are predictable? Or are they techniques? Which is his? Tell me which is his in your opinion, Shiro.
わかりましたわ、総一郎。
Ooh, still static. I understand, Soichiro. Okay, do you respect him now, or do you want to fucking kill him? Did you ever find out that he was like a badass kung fu ninja in the other timeline? When you killed him? Was it because you found out that you killed him? Do you think he's too dangerous? I understand, Soichiro.
ええ。サーバントである以上、マスターの命令には従わないといけませんものね。
Yes, a servant should obey its master. I mean, you don't think like that at all, but sure. You obey him because you respect him for now. Who was that directed at? Who was that directed at? Archer, maybe? Because Archer didn't quite completely obey Rin by what? By not killing Castor? Because Archer knows Rin would have wanted Archer to kill Castor? Who was that directed at? Castor's robe flutters as she finishes. And then, you're still staticky. There's nothing after that. He's still staticky. Are you still Shiro? Do you still look like Shiro? Does your part of your body look like Archer? What's the deal, bro? If we had a mirror, would there be a big plot twist? If this was the Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works anime and we got a glimpse of Shiro, would they have to do it like where they never actually show what Shiro looks like and they always like do it in weird person and then suddenly they show what he looks like and it's like, Shiro, you're... ah! That would be weird to do in the anime. It would be an awkward cut all of a sudden if that is the case that we don't look like normal Shiro anymore. The bluish-purple robe circles Kazuki, and as if through sorcery they disappear without a trace. And then?
やられた。いくらなんでもこうなったらクズキは竜道寺から降りてこない。
Okay, I guess we still look like Shiro. You'd be overreacting more. So maybe it's just internally that I'm fucked up? It hasn't quite come out externally yet? I'm assuming if it came out externally, she'd be focusing on that first, and then go, oh yeah, also Castor got away. Crap, now there's no way Kazuki will come out from the Ryudo Temple. Maybe if he's actually genuinely scared of me. So are we gonna still go to school, though, and risk running into him? What's your plan, Rin? After Castor and Kazuki disappear. Without caring for her wounded chest, Tosaka grits her teeth in regret. You're alive, Rin! We did it! We survived the day. I consider that a win. We basically walked into a trap and came out alive, so I'll call it a win. I understand how Tosaka feels. So probably if we chose to protect Saber, we would run to maybe help Saber. Kazuki would just fucking kill Ren. We would see that happen and go, no, I'm stupid. Why did I let that happen? And then we aren't looking. Castor kills us or something. I understand how Tosaka feels. Since we attacked them, Kazuki will now stay in the Ryudo Temple. I mean, will you guys stay in your houses? Because, I mean, Kazuki doesn't need much protecting, let's be honest. We'll have to go attack their territory if we defeat Castor. That's what I think was the good idea all along, because, I mean, gathering information about who might be Castor's master is not a bad idea, and we certainly learned a lot, but it was a big risk, because I feel like it should have theoretically been a trap from the start, and I still think it was a trap. I don't think Castor would have cared if her master died here. The fact that they didn't is just a nice bonus, if anything, from her perspective, I think. I assume so. Unless it's not a bonus. Maybe she wanted him to die. If she wants him to die, she can probably just do it herself, but I don't know. The Ryudo Temple has a gate watcher called Assassin, and Kazuki and Castor aren't easy enemies either. We'll lose if we just attack recklessly. They've basically got 3 servant level people there. We've got Saber and Archer. Shiro might be debatably servant level if he can get his shit together. But otherwise, we could try teaming up with a 3rd servant. Hey, Elia! Do you still want to kill me? In this timeline? What's you up to, Elia? Alternatively, Shinji, but, you know, I mean, it's fucking Shinji. Would Gilgamesh be interested in cooperating? Ryder's been taken out. So, Caster, Assassin, Archer, Saber. I think I named all the others. Because Ryder's taken out. It's just, yeah, Berserker, Lancer, or Gilgamesh at that point. We'll lose if we just attack recklessly. But we have to go to Rio Temple if we want to defeat Caster.
リン、忠告しますが、あの寺はサーバントにとって鬼門です。
Rin, I will warn you that temple is a treacherous place for us servants. I mean, Archer seemed okay over there. I don't know.
アーチャーを動員したところで、力押しでは勝機は薄い。
There's not much chance of winning even if we get Archer and try to force our way through. I mean, since Caster is like really evil and stuff, Gilgamesh wouldn't give a shit. Elia might not give a shit. Shinji just doesn't like us. Nah. This should be easy. This should be... Caster's all evil and stuff. We should be able to cooperate with someone and be like, hey, you know what? They're a bad person. You should help us kill the bad person. But, like... Shinji's a dick. Elia still probably wants to kill me. And Gilgamesh is a dick. So, you know, Gilgamesh... I'm not trying to put Gilgamesh in the same category as Shinji. However, they're both different variants of dicks. There's not much chance of winning even if we get Archer and try to force our way through.
私だってあの山がどれぐらい変化ぐらい分かってる。悔しいからってすぐに追いかけたりしないし、あなたのマスターを強行策になんか巻き込まないわ。
I know how strange that mountain is. I won't follow them out of vexation, nor will I drag your master into going there. Oh, Saber, so now you think it's bad to go there. In Timeline 1, you disobeyed me. Still a little salty. Still a little salty. I get that you were heated, but still a little salty. Granted, you didn't know how trapped it was at the time, but, like, you still walked into it, so, you know. I know how strange that mountain is. I won't follow them out of vexation, nor will I drag your master into going there. I mean, you wouldn't have to drag me. We would just go as teammates if we're gonna go. If you're planning to go, Rin, I'll go with you. You know I'm strong. You saw what just happened. You might not understand it, but you saw it.
では、キャスターを撃つのは諦めると。
Then you will give up on defeating Caster?
冗談。やられっぱなしは性に合わないし、何よりキャスターは放っておけない。そのあたり、あなたのマスターも同意見だと思うけど。
Are you kidding me? I don't like getting beaten, and more than that, I can't let Caster be. I think your master has the same opinion on that. I don't think that Shiro cares about getting beaten. He doesn't have enough liking to care. But he definitely cares about Caster, you know, trying to kill everyone like a villain and stuff. Shiro would want to stop that, you know, wanting to be a hero and all that. She asked me by looking at me. Do I still look like Shiro? You guys haven't brought anything crazy up, so I think I still look like Shiro. I think it's still just inside, but I don't know. Do I feel like Shiro? Can you feel Shiro? Or am I the Shiro nobody now? His name would be... Shit, I don't know. I think I made this joke before and just said that his nobody would be Shinji, but there's no X in there. Anyways, dash, dash, dash. Shiro has similar letters to Sora, so you could probably make something similar to Roxas, but I don't know. Dash, dash, dash. Saber must have followed Tosaka's example since she looks as if she's asking me whether that is the case.
当たり前だ。いつまでもあの二人を放ってはおけない。
Of course, we can't leave those two be. This feels pretty big. Like, this isn't something we're just gonna put off. So where's the narrative going then? Maybe we aren't gonna put it off, but like, due to circumstances, it still becomes the big climax anyways and becomes the final battle. Otherwise, this is just the next thing that's gonna happen is the big showdown with Castor, making that sort of the midpoint fight, similar to the Berserker fight, I guess, in Timeline 1. But then what comes afterwards? Because that would be us taking out Castor and Assassin at once, in theory. And who's left as a big villain? There's Makiri, there's the idea, but like, what could he even do without a servant, theoretically? With Shinji, I don't see Shinji as a final villain. I mean, if they want to, it could be interesting, I guess. It would be interesting, but I don't see how they do it and make it have the right climactic feel. I don't think they do Kirei again. Ilia would be interesting, but would be surprising to me. I guess they could. Berserker works as a climactic enemy, I guess. I suppose if they go full darkness with Ilia, I could see Ilia as the final villain of the timeline. It could happen. It's just kind of weird because if she is the Grail, maybe that supports it. Maybe in this timeline, the Grail manifests in some weird way, and that it ends up, making Berserker even stronger and crazier. And then in the end, we save her from herself or something. Maybe. Anyways, we can't leave those two be.
キャスターは魔力集めをやめないだろうし、マスターであるクズキも止めないと言った。なら、二人を倒すだけだ。
Castor won't stop collecting magical energy, and her master Kazuki said he won't stop her. Then we'll just defeat them.
竜道寺にはアサシンもいるようだけど、キャスターのマスターであるクズキを倒せばことは済む。
Seems assassins at the Ryudo Temple, but everything will be fine if we defeat Castor's master Kazuki.
そうね。久月先生がおとなしくレイジを消させてくれるとは思えないけど、とにかく取り押さえればなんとかなる。
Woof! There's her murder virgin showing. Yeah, I don't think Kazuki Sensei will easily let us take his command spell, but we should be able to do something if we capture him. Also, we kill him? I'm just gonna throw it out there. We kill him? But I get it, she's a murder virgin. He doesn't seem like the nicest guy. He's got maybe something of a relationship with Issei. I mean, maybe he's not a completely bad person. He seems neutral, if anything. Just very neutral. And he comes off as a villain because of his relation to Castor. Like, he's Castor's master and doesn't care if she does bad things. But that doesn't necessarily make him a bad person. He could just be true neutral, because he seems super apathetic. Still, as long as he's working with a bad person, it depends on if his connection with Issei really is genuine, I suppose. But I don't think we can afford to try that. I don't think we can afford to try to negotiate with him at this point. I don't think we have enough of a hand to play. I feel like we should just go for the kill here, but if I'm being practical, though, Shiro might want to try to save him. And Rin clearly does, given what she's saying.
当面はこっちも作戦を立てるしかないわけだけど。
I guess we'll have to stick to planning for now. Then, I don't know why, but Tosaka suddenly turns to you and is like, So what the fuck happened?
それよりエミヤ君、さっきのは何？あなたの魔術って強化だけじゃなかったの？
By the way, what was that, Emiya-kun? Wasn't strengthening the only magic you used? Yeah, until just now, I kind of whipped it out of nowhere. She asked me with a serious expression. Oh, does she feel a little betrayed? Because she thought, that was the only thing I could do, and she thought she was getting really close with me. She thought I would never lie to her. I didn't lie, though. It just fucking came out of nowhere. Genuinely. Dash is dash. I mean, maybe he doesn't even realize in the moment exactly the gravity of what he just did. It'll probably take him a second to process. Does she mean reproducing Archer's swords? Yeah, it's kind of a big deal, believe it or not. I'm still surprised myself, but I don't think she should glare at me for it. She should, because it's a big fucking deal.
黙ってないで答えなさいよ。前に言ったわよね。俺が使える魔術は強化だけだって。
Answer me. You told me before that strengthening magic is all you can use, right?
いや、そうだけど、初めにできたのが投影で、そっちは効率が悪いから強化にしろって教えられたんだ。あれ、こんなの言わなかったか、俺。
Well, that's right. Projection is the first one I was able to use, but I was taught to use strengthening magic because projection is inefficient. Oh, I didn't tell you about this? Is he slipping up? subconsciously thinking he already told her because he told her in the other timeline? Or is that me reading way too much into it? It could be. That would mean the connection is getting stronger if it's more than just his character development that time traveled, but also his memories subconsciously, if there is something there.
言ってない。頭にくるぐらい聞いてない。
No, I'm mad that I haven't heard about it. This is just your son showing because you don't know how to deal with the situation. It's heightened. I know it's everyone's heightened emotions. We can all calm down. We can make out later. She glares at me. I don't know why, but Tosaka is really pissed. I get the general idea. Probably just that she, thought she was that close to me and this is like something that distances us. But also, it's really weird and she doesn't get it. And why archer swords?
じゃあ聞くけど、あなた、投影魔術は今回が初めてじゃないのね。
Then let me ask you, this isn't your first time using the projection magic?
ああ、そうなるかな。強化の鍛錬に失敗した時、仕切り直すためによくやってた。でも、さっきみたいに役に立つものを投影できるわけじゃない。
Oh, I guess not. I do it quite often to get myself together after I fail the strengthening magic. To do what? What do you project exactly? Is this the first we're hearing of this? What are you projecting after you fail strengthening? Has he talked about this? If he has, I don't remember. But it's not like you can project something useful like I did just now.
なんていうか、外見は似せられるけど、中身は空っぽだったんだ。
Oh, right, no. He did say something like that in Timeline 1. Yeah, okay. I can get them looking the same on the outside, but they were all empty on the inside.
中身は空っぽ？何？外観だけしか複製しないってこと？
Empty inside? What do you mean? Do you mean you can only reproduce the appearance? Normally, except for just now.
いや、ちゃんと中身も考えてはいるんだけど、うまくいかなかった。だから自分でも驚いてる。
No, I'm thinking about what's inside as well, but I can never manage to do it. That's why I'm surprised right now.
イメージしたものは本物には及ばないんだけど、さっきのは真に迫ってたからな。
What I imagine isn't close to the real thing, but the swords just now were pretty close.
じゃあエミヤ君、あなたは強化より先に投影を習得したってこと？
Does it mean you acquired projection before strengthening? I guess so, in a way.
習得っていうより、それしかできなかったんだって。
It's more like that was the only thing I could do.
親父はそれじゃ何の役にも立たないから目先を変えて強化にしろって。
My father told me it was useless and that I should use strengthening instead.
そうね。私でもきっとそうさせたわ。
Yeah, I would have told you the same thing as well.
でもおかしな話よね。アーチャーの剣をあれだけ長時間複製できるくせに、
But that's
普通の
strange.
ものは投影できない。
You reproduced archer's swords for such a long time, but you still can't project normal things. I mean, maybe it just takes some learning.
属性が限られているのかな？
Maybe you have a limited attribute. Oh, is that like a magical term? What is that? What is your scientific reason for why I'm weird, Rin?
汎用性はないけど、ある事柄に関してのみ優れた魔術師ってのもいるし。
There are magi who aren't versatile, but very powerful in one matter. Tosaka starts thinking about herself. You do your Rin science. I think science is fun. You have fun with that Rin science. She does not even look at me. That sounds like me too. I've just been thinking to myself.
とりあえず今日は帰りましょう。
Let's go home for today. What's Saber's thoughts on the matter? She still hasn't busted out her Excalibur in front of me. I haven't seen what her wind sword looks like. Are we gonna have Dragon Sex, Saber? Are you doing okay? I guess you're doing okay as long as you don't have to bust out Excalibur.
セイバーも自己回復に魔力を使ったようだし、休ませてあげないと。
It seems Saber used magic energy to heal herself, so we have to let her rest. We just not gonna Dragon Sex in this timeline? Because I feel like Dragon Sex is what really awakened it in the other timeline. It just, the timing-wise, it was just after he lost some of his magical energy in theory that he started doing it. So, maybe the connection he had, making such a strong connection with Saber is what really opened the idea to sword birth for Saber. But he can just naturally sword birth through Archer because he just is Archer from the future past, obviously. So we have to let her rest. And she goes home like that. Alright. Whoa. Yeah? Why are you playing this ominous music? There's no one at the house. The hallway's dead silent. My ears might still be screwed up as I can't even hear my own footsteps. The numbness in my limbs won't go away. I don't feel like I'm stepping on the ground. You don't feel like your body belongs to you? Dash, dash. Surprised that I can still walk in this connection, I go with Saber to my room. Just going through the
今日の
motions.
鍛錬はなしにしよう。セイバーも疲れてるだろ。
Excuse. Well, let's not train today. You must be tired, right? Also, Shiro, you feel super out of it and probably don't want to get into training right now. You're afraid of what might happen? You also doubt yourself, even?
あんなひどい傷を負ったんだしさ。
You were pretty badly wounded, too. And the ominous music plays in the background the whole time. Man. Oof. I don't know that exact feeling, obviously, but I know the feeling of playing it off like it's nothing. Because I don't want to burden the other person, for sure. And it generally sucks. Usually you want to tell the other person. And sometimes, it depends on the circumstance, but a lot of the time, the healthier thing is to just tell them what's happening. But I certainly know the feeling of acting like nothing's wrong, and all along something is wrong. And kind of on the inside, I'm like, just realize something's wrong so I can stop the pretense already, because this sucks. But I get it. I am a little guilty sometimes of assuming other people should read signs. Like, so I'm guess it's also just has to do with something of my shyness. But, like, if I think something's obvious, sometimes I won't say it, and I'll just want the other person to get it, because I don't want to have to waste my time saying it. And then when they don't get it, it kind of annoys me. But, so I think there's a little of that in there, too. The idea of not wanting to say anything. The idea of, you can realize something's wrong with me, right? But I know that's not healthy, but... I talked to Saber once we get to my room.
いいえ、私の方は問題ありません。回復のために魔力を消費しましたが、
Nope,
ま
I
だ
do
十
not
分
have a
に補え
problem.
るレベルです。
I don't have a problem, you have a problem. I have used magical energy to heal myself, but I'm still able to replenish that magical energy.
それよりシロ、あなたの方こそ体に異常はないのですか？
More than that, Shiro, is there anything wrong with your body? Why do you say that? Because does something look wrong with my body, or do you just get a sense by the way I'm walking? Why do you say that, Shiro? Saber, why do you say that? 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 Why do you say that?
いや、別に大丈夫だぞ。まだ手足が重いけど、筋肉痛みたいなものだし、明日になれば楽になってるさ。
Oh, Shiro, that a boy, running away from the hardest truth still. Like old times. No, I'm fine. My limbs are still heavy. This is like muscular pain, so I bet it'll be gone by tomorrow.
わかりました。ですが、もし体が痛むようでしたら、
All
声
right,
をかけてください。
but please tell me if your body is hurting. Sure, I'll tell you.
ね、セイバーこそ何かあったら起こしてくれ。夜分に腹が減ったんなら夜食でも何でも作る。
Yeah, you can wake me up too if anything happens. If you get hungry at night, I'll make you something. I get it though. Shiro wants to probably be alone with his thoughts. He seems like the kind of person that likes to contemplate by himself before alerting other people without fully understanding himself. It scares him to let other people know when he himself doesn't know, as they might, try things or think things, and he just wants everyone to calm down about it. He wants a chance to be alone with his thoughts, to really think about what's happening with himself before trying to talk to anyone else about it, which I can understand. Definitely seems like a Shiro thing at this point, especially Timeline 2 Shiro. If you get hungry tonight, I'll make you something. I can't provide magical energy for her, so all I can do is make some food to cheer her up.
シロ、くれぐれも無理はしないように。
Shiro, please do not push yourself. Interesting how Rin reacted to me making the swords. In Timeline, I guess because she realizes how competent I am in Timeline 2, she's seen proof of it earlier, that when she sees me do that, she's like, oh, that's weird, but okay, you do you. In Timeline 1, she's like, never do that again, that shit could kill you. That was way too much. She probably just thought I was a little shit who's not competent in that timeline, which is very fair. But in this timeline, I've proved to her just how good I am. So when she sees me do that, she more is willing to allow me the responsibility to make my own choices, I suppose. Saber goes to the next room.
そうだな。おとなしく寝るか。
Yeah, I guess I'll go to bed. Really, Shiro? You really gonna ignore this? I set my futon down and lay on it. My limbs are a bit numb. A bit. It might be the effect of magic I'm not used to doing, as I feel like I'll pass out if I let my guard down.
なんだ。本当に。
What's going on? I guess I'm tired. The ringing in my ears annoys me, but I think I can still get a good night's sleep. And then... small text. Very small text. That looks red. Archer wears red clothes. I squeeze the futon. Oh, this seems like it hurts. You know, when Archer does his fancy attack, something he says a lot of the time, and by a lot I mean I remember he said it once and it was with good English, so I paid attention. The bone of my sword, or something like that. And Shiro's body seems to some extent, be made of swords. As if his bones are actually swords. The bone of my sword? Connection. I squeeze the futon. It feels like hot metal is coming up from my throat. The bones of your swords that are inside you? Every muscle, every bone in my body is messed up. There's a bunch of dooga hoogie boogie. I hear a grinding sound with my numb ears. The sound of creaking bones is coming from within me. My sword has a boner. A sword looks like a penis. Although the yin-yang swords would be a double penis. Ooh. Maybe the yin-yang swords are the balls to Caliburn's penis. Sound of creaking bones is coming from within me. What don't they like? Your body? My bones are twitching as if complaining to me, and my ribs are shaking as if to burst out of my body. Pain runs throughout my body. My whole body is pushed down by a great force, but the pain is coming from within. It's condensed in a small place, but the contradiction is that my body is expanding. Maybe you're having this kind of pain because you never had the dragon sex. The dragon sex was painful in Timeline 1, but maybe it opened you up to using sword birth more regularly. And because you never did it in this timeline, the body is having weird thingies where it has to like push past boundaries now that you've done it just to make itself feel right. Or, you know, it's because you summon the swords and you're Archer from the future past, so you summon Archer's swords and your body's getting all weird about it. That's possible too. It's condensed in a small place, but the contradiction is that my body is expanding. Ow. On top of my futon. I will go around like a bug and try to bear the unknown pain. Oh, feeling pain like that randomly while like in the middle of your sleep, it's just the worst. Hasn't happened to me much, but sometimes my leg might get a pain. It hasn't happened in a long time, but a couple times, like if I was sleeping in the wrong way, my leg would get a weird pain, and it'd be like But those were definitely annoying. But it was nothing on this level, I don't think. But still, you know, the theory I can relate to. Because, you know, when you're sleeping, you just want to have a nice, comfortable sleep. So pain at that time Especially if it happens at that time and it wasn't happening before. That's the worst. If it happens before, you can at least be prepared. But if it like comes out of nowhere, then you're like, oh, ugh. My brain's burning. My brain must not be able to endure the pain, as it's like a sauna now. I don't care if this is compensation for magic over my level, or if this is the abnormality Saber was talking about. Either way, you just want it to end. Or you're okay with it. You can endure it if it's for the sake of helping your Tosaka lover. I doubt that's where this line is going, but... For some reason, I don't want to ask Saber for help. Ooh, hard truths, man. You're ignoring hard truths. You think there's something weird with you. You don't think you're a regular human, maybe. But you don't want to hear that answer come out of Saber's mouth. You don't want to hear it come out of anyone's mouth. You just want to let yourself be Emiyashiro, a normal boy. I don't want to worry here and have to be responsible for what I did. For what you did? You mean the sword birth, or do you mean something else? It's natural to do so. I suppress my moaning as I sweat. The clock I look at with my vague mind says it's not yet midnight. I should be able to escape this pain if I sleep, but I'm sure the pain will wake me up even if I do. I'm going into a daze. My mind's boiling up. The pain should go away once the sun comes up. But until then, I have to bear this pain for about 7 hours. And this fact by itself seems like a bad dream. You know, normal sleep's supposed to be 8 hours, Shiro. Also, you know the sun will be up in exactly 7 hours? Good on you. I never pay attention when the sun comes up and goes down. Interlude? Rin interlude? Where the fuck are we? What the fuck is this? What? Where is this? Huh? We have not seen this place before. So I can't possibly guess who I'm playing as because I don't know this place. The place is not too pleasant for him? Shinji interlude? The only people we've interluded so far are... I believe we did actually interlude once as Shinji and Tama in one when he was running away from us after we killed Ryder. I think we interluded as him for a little bit. Yeah, because Ilya killed him when we weren't looking, and then we came upon him. If memory serves. But anyways, the only him we've interluded as is Shinji. So is this Shinji? The place is not too pleasant for him. Frustration and delusion, envy and jealousy. Okay, oh boy. Green interlude? What a big matzo ball. Okay, at this point, I think I could break here and go for like an hour, but I think I'm really interested where this is going. I'm not gonna be able to stream tomorrow, so the next time I can stream is on Monday. I wanted to see where the Shiro thing was going, but this feels like a good beat. You know what? I think I will, yeah. I'm gonna call it here. This was fun mostly. I do think the Kazuki fight, the initial part was a little boring, but I like where that went. Him busting out the yin-yang swords is predictable, of course, but there's fun implications now that something's happening with Shiro. There's a fun interlude, so that's interesting. Archer was just not around in that fight at all, so maybe there's significance there. Yeah, so at this point we've basically uncovered all the masters. We don't know what's happening with this green room. This timeline, yeah, I think overall the pace has been much snappier. I've still had a couple issues with it, but the pace has been much snappier than Timeline 1's, which was more of a slow burn, which I can appreciate in hindsight because it was important for Shiro's character development, debatably. I still can make the argument that even if Shiro was trying to avoid things as much as possible, I think at least once or twice more often, Shiro should have been forced into situations he didn't want. Because he was always going to go out of his way to avoid them because of who his character was back then. But once or twice, just having things happen to him, whether he wanted them to or not, would have been nice for the pacing of the Timeline 1. But for Timeline 2, it's been nice and snappy. So yeah, I am excited to see where this goes. For sure. And to complement the fact that my bladder is still having issues, I gotta pee again. I think it's just I've been drinking a lot of water. I don't know. But anyways, yeah. Kuzuki seems like a badass master. So in the end, we have to go and attack at the temple anyways. We have not seen Ilya in a long time. She's probably going to show up soon unless she really is just the final villain of the pathway. If she doesn't show up before we fight Castor, my guess would be she's just the final villain of the pathway. She could be. Well, anyways, I will stop for now. See you guys next time. Still an outro phrase. Yeah. Bye-bye. Green rooms.